Live from Hollywood, California, VJ Vernon Husky, the Big Vanilla Funnies, Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
I'd rather be with you. Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather be with you. I'd rather be with you. Yeah.
This is a shout out to my Uncle Nat, man. My Uncle Nat and my pop got me into Bootsy Collins as a kid, and I ain't gonna talk about this too long before I get all emotional and start crying here live on air right now, man. But this shot right here, this show today is dedicated to my Uncle Nat and my step pops, who was my pops Glenn, man. They used to love them some Bootsy Collins. My Uncle Nat went home to be with the Lord Thursday night. Fuck cancer. Cancer is now taking 2 uncles, an aunt, my dog that you see Woodson around my chest, a dog, and my first manager in entertainment, man. So VJ's on Sportsmanlike Conduct, Spreaker.com, live right now, iHeartRadio, YouTube, StreamYard, IG. Y'all know how I gets down. I'm ready to talk some sports today because there's a lot of things going on and a lot of stuff needs to be said. And I had my piece earlier, but I'm going to have my piece even more now. I'm your host, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Shaq, the Blue Eye Barkley, the Creamy Kobe. Happy birthday to Mamba. We will have our favorite Kobe Bryant moments today. Hey, Chanda, you see my shirt? You see, let me move the mic. You see my shirt, Chanda? Y'all see it? And listen, man, y'all know I do the comedy thing, but you know, my comedy is serious too, man. VA's top tall boy, miss another shut up. The Big Vanilla color card. And that's because in sports, sometimes you gotta deal the color card, man. Sometimes you gotta play that deck, and when you do, I am your Big Vanilla Vegas dealer. Great show lineup today. We will talk Sha'Carri Richardson. We will talk responsibility. We will talk sportsmanship. We will talk PR team. We will talk self-awareness. We'll talk a lot of NFL. I want to talk about some of the preseason stuff. Call line's going to open up in 45 minutes. 860-614-8257. I don't care who you are. If you want to call and talk some sports, if you think you got it, if you think you can really call and talk some sports, I'm all for it. We will put you live on air, let you have your opinion on what you want to say about today's comments, man. I want to talk about the rookie quarterbacks that have all been drafted. There were 5 of them. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was Eddie Murphy when he was doing Bill Cosby and Raw. I have 5 children. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rookie quarterbacks have been drafted this year, and we want to get a look at everybody and talk about them, man. There's some things I agree with. I hear people saying. There's some things I am far way the hell left with that I hear some people saying, man. So great show lineup. And then also my homie Big Coop from Minnesota Sports Pain will be in the house today. He up in the Bay, so I know he probably chiefing on something nice, having a good time up in the Bay in San Mateo, California, home of Julian Edelman and also Tom Brady. But to start today's show, I want to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. You guys know I always open the show with the opening rant. And whenever I look at this stuff about athletes of today and the way athletes conduct themselves and the way we defend them and the way celebrities jump in, I'm going to start from the top and I'm going to break this whole thing down all the way. Now, first of all, let me just start out by saying I don't have shit to prove to anybody who is black or anybody who is a woman. If you don't know me by now, if you haven't listened to me by now, if you haven't followed me by now, there's not an independent sports talk guy on the air in America right now who defends the black athlete the way I do, defends the black quarterback the way I do, defends the black female athlete, the WNBA, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, you name them, I got their back. Simone Biles, you name them, I got their back. I have done shows, complete 2.5 hour, 3-hour shows dedicated to black women. My resume speaks for itself. And if you don't know about it, then have several seats and stay your ass in your place before you come after me with your woman empowerment. Because we're going to get into that too. I have daughters. I was raised by a black woman. I was raised by a black grandmother. My mama name is tattooed on my neck. Okay? I am about the black woman. All the way around. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I've taken heat. My homegirl, China Glass, who's watching right now, did a podcast show with me about a year ago where we talked for 2.5 hours with other people in an interracial relationship about interracial dating. They know where I stand. So for you women that were coming after me today, listen, I normally don't respond to the peanut gallery. And they normally say if you keep paying attention to the circus, you're going to find yourself among the clowns. And I'm not calling y'all clowns, but come on now. Do your research on me before you come at me crazy about your woman empowerment. With that being said, I'm pulling for Sha'Carri because I want her to get it right. I want her to get her shit together. I've been saying since day one, I hope, number one, she's clean. We'll get into the times. I got notes. I'm prepared to talk. I'm prepared to go through this, okay? I'm prepared. You see all that shit? I'm prepared to go through this, okay? If you look at her times, there could be some questions about her times. I have every time she ran all her top times in 2021. I have them all right here. We'll get into it. But if you also want to just look at it from just a sportsmanship standpoint, she's very bad at that. If you want to look at it from a self-awareness standpoint, and self-awareness means you're very aware of yourself, where you stand, what you should say, what you shouldn't say, and Big Mama done told all of us hundreds of times, it ain't what you say, baby, it's how you say it, son. Your grandfather been told you, it ain't what you say, young man, it's how you say it. It ain't how you say it to people, it's what you say. It ain't what you say to people, it's how you say it to people. Right? It ain't how you act towards people, it's how you treat people. There's a difference between the way you act towards people and the way you treat people. There's a big ass difference. Somebody should have grabbed her a long time ago and said, hey baby, okay, we know there's some haters. We know there's a couple of haters. Shout out to my man Enzo Amore from WWE. What do we got over here? A couple of haters. My man Luis Estrada's in the building listening. He knows that reference right there. Hey, yo, Luis, CM Punk, AEW, baby. Yes. Yes. We'll talk about that on another show on your wrestling show, man. Shout out to my man Luis Estrada from Spectrum Sports doing big thing. Just won like his 37th fucking Emmy. I'm trying not to be jealous of him. I'm really not. I'm trying not to be jealous of my guy. But I'm really fuck your Emmys. No, I'm just playing. He knows I love him. But when you talk about Sha'Carri, and the way she speaks and how she speaks and the way she says things, her PR team is horrible. They need to be fired. Sha'Carri's PR team needs to be fired. That's one point. Second point, sweetheart, if you are going to talk the way you talk, and if you're going to boast the way you boast, and if you're going to talk shit the way you talk shit, then this is the smoke you get. This is the game. This is sports. All that feelings and shit I see people posting, all that why y'all jumping on her, tearing her. Man, you know what? You soft ass sports fans, get out of my comments and get out of my inbox with that soft shit. I'm old school. Ain't no softness in sports. Tom Hanks, Jimmy Dugan, league of their own. There's no crying in baseball. Ain't no soft shit in sports. Especially when you run your mouth and you talk shit, which I'm fine with. I don't mind if you talk shit. Muhammad Ali said, I'm the greatest. I'm pretty. Can't nobody beat me. And I can't possibly be beat. But he proved it. He knocked everybody out. He was whooping everybody's ass. And when he got beat, he came back and whooped their ass. When Joe Frazier beat him, he came back and whooped Joe Frazier's ass. You can talk like that. When Mike Tyson was telling everybody, I'm the best in the world, there's nobody that can beat me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impenetrable. I'm going to impregnate everybody in the world. I want to eat your nuts. I want your children. I want to eat your puppy. I'm going to make a stew out of them. I'm going to take your dog and I'm going to make a stew. I'm going to be like Manny Pacquiao's dad when he came home from school and he was cooking the dog because they were so poor. They had to eat something. That's how I am. But Mike went out and proved that shit. Time and time and time and time and time again. Then you have the greats that never had to say it. Jordan never had to tell you, I bust ass in the finals. I whoops ass in the finals. I hands ass, most likely your own ass, right back to you. I hand you your own ass in the finals. Peyton, Stockton, Malone, Drexler, Barkley, do I have to keep naming them? I hand you your ass in the fight. He didn't have to say it. We saw it on TV. Kobe and Shaq, dominant. Shaq talked a little bit. Best 1-2 combination ever.
Nobody can beat him. When Kobe doing this thing, and I got a bum on my back, that's barbecue chicken. Give me the ball. Then we get the others. Gotta always have the others going. Get the others involved. D-Fish, Ori, Big, Shot Bob was hitting shots everywhere. Rick Fox, Brian, Shaw, big-time veteran. When everything was working, we was winning, dominating all the time, ever.
But he was right. For 3 straight years, they dominated the NBA and they never had to say a word. Tiger Woods never had to tell you for 10 years he was the greatest golfer we have ever seen. I understand there's some guys down in the South that grew up on that golf. They're going to say, Jack, hey, the bear, Jack Nicholson, the bear. Listen, man, I'll tell you something. The bear, he was a tough son bitch. He was a tough son gun. He'd take that 7-iron and make it look like a 1. He'd take the 5-iron, make it look like a 2. That's how good he was. I mean, Tiger, and that black guy, he's okay. But he ain't no bear. But Tiger never had to say it. Nicholas never had to say it. Brady doesn't have to brag about going to 10 of the last 20 Super Bowls. Think about that. 10 of the last 20 Super Bowls, he's never had to say a word. We see the shit. It's right there in front of us. Sha'Carri, on the other hand, has to keep telling everybody, I'm that girl. Y'all keep counting me out. Who's counting you out, mama? This is a perfect example of today's young athlete who is so sensitive and so soft. Nobody is counting you out, sweetheart. You have a legion of fans if you haven't been paying attention. You have a legion of fans. You have celebrities backing you. Dre Beats gave you a sponsorship deal. You endorse Dre Beats. You are a Nike athlete. You think Nike signs people that's not liked? You think Dre Beats is going to give an endorsement deal to someone that's not liked? But this is what happens when you talk too much and you don't train and you don't take the sport seriously. And that's where I'm going at this. This has got nothing to do about a woman. This has got nothing to do about a black woman. Whether people like it or not, I am a sportscast journalist. I am a professional journalist. And I hate to do this, but sometimes you just have to. I was going to sit it right here and flash it and show y'all, but it's sitting on the counter right there. I get paid to do this shit. And that's not a brag. It's just a fact, people. So I've learned how to separate your heart from your brain, from your profession. There's 3 levels to this shit. Your heart, your brain, and your profession. And I'm just watching track. And I watch a lot of track. I don't wait until the Olympics. I love watching the Monaco relays. I love watching the Paris meet. I love watching the the Madrid, Spain meet, and the Rome meet. Those are like 3 huge meets. You got Eugene, you got Miramar, you have Rome, you have Paris, you got Monaco. There's some tournaments over in season Europe, guys, where the best in the world go. It's just not televised like a lot of other things are. Nowadays you can see it because track is starting to get a little tread as being a real popular sport and not just an every 4-year Olympic sport. But there's other races coming up. She will be able to prove herself if she really is that girl. But you cannot continue to run your mouth the way that she does and expect no heat and no smoke when you come in last place. No one told you to do a TikTok in the beauty salon with your natural hair out and then, they do the cross-screen wipe or flip hair and I'm back, bitches. And I get it. It's cute. But the caption, if she'd have just did that and said, I'll see y'all August 21st, I'd have been like, okay. But I'm not playing nice, and then you get smoked like that, and then we are not allowed to critique you? We, in the journalist world, in the sports broadcasting world, are getting dumped on all day long by all of her apologists? Are you fucking kidding me? I took today personal. Because I support black women in all sports. Where's all this black women empowerment for the 3 ladies from Jamaica who took first, second, and third in the 100 in Tokyo? They took first, second, and third in the 200 in Tokyo. And then took the gold medal in the 4x1. And then those same 2 women, 2 of the 3, or 2 of the 4 if you count the 4x1, went to the tournament the past weekend to meet this past weekend and took first and second. Those are black women too. Those are black queens too. I love Jamaica. One pan know a lot of you like to go to Jamaica. The food down there is delicious. It's citrusy. Use a lot of spices there. You hear your one know. Okay? Ragwan. Y'all love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. How many of y'all out there been to Montego Bay? Everybody black that go to Jamaica go to Montego Bay. Everybody black that go to Jamaica want to go to Kingston. They want to see Usain Bolt. They want to see the Beanie Man. Like, just stop acting like we don't love Jamaican. You love Jamaican jerk. You love Jamaican jerk chicken. All y'all out there eat oxtails. And oxtails ain't nothing but Jamaican, but Caribbean neck bone. That's all oxtails. Oxtails ain't nothing but Caribbean neck bone. That's all that shit is. But it's good. They slow cook it with the peas and rice, man. It's the peas and rice. Yeah, the curry goats and the peas and rice and the carrots. The peas and rice and carrots. The plantains, man. Yes! I don't see y'all like showing them this love. I don't see all this woman empowerment for them. Y'all are enabling Sha'Carri. Her fans, these celebrities, you guys are enabling her to continue to act the way she acts. And I'm just going to say it. I know a lot of people are thinking it. I've had people privately say it to me. God, I know. You know what? I'm not yet. Not yet. Y'all know where I'm going with her. Y'all know where I'm going with her. You know exactly where I'm going, but I'm still trying to keep a level of respect and a level of decorum about Sha'Carri Richardson. Let's go to some of these times, because when we go back to the trials, okay, and back to earlier this year where she ran the 10.72, okay, back on April 10th. Earlier that day, she runs an 11 flat. My only issue with her times at the trials is I clearly just said the day she ran it, I remember Raynell asking me, did you see that Sha'Carri Richardson girl from LSU run the 100 in the trials today? My first reaction and my first comment back to her was, I hope she's clean. I hope she's clean. And I'll explain why. At LSU, she broke the national champion or the national collegiate record that stood for like 40-something years. There was a lady that was from Russia who was running for an American college who set the original college record for the women 100 at 10.78. And she was the first one to break it under 11. 11 was the mark. 11 seconds, 100 meter was the mark for the women's 100. She broke it back then in college. And for a collegiate record, it stood for a very, 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 very long time. If you want to fast forward from that point to FloJo ran a 10.49. People have to remember what still stands today. That's in 1988. That was in Indianapolis at the trials. What still stands today as the world record. When she broke it, the world record at that time was a 10.76. That's almost 20 hundredths of a second faster. That's moving, people. That's moving. That's not light. That's someone who is crushing the record. I went back to YouTube and just watched some of those races, and it was like, wow, her top end speed. Once she got to 50 meters, you can cancel Christmas. It's over. Nobody's getting any presents. There's no Santa Claus. There's no elves. There's no Christmas cookies. There's no ugly sweaters. There's no nasty ass fruit cake. There's no eggnog with the Hennessy or the brandy or the aged whiskey in it. Ain't none of that shit. It's over. When FloJo was running the 100, her top end speed we had just never seen in a woman before. And probably to this day still haven't. People still question that time though. People have to remember and go back into research and go back in their mind and brain. They wanted FloJo tested. They did not believe those times. They wanted FloJo tested. And I'll tell you this. FloJo then went on to the Olympics and ran a 10.61, which still won her a gold medal. And that made people question it even more. Okay, hold up. Hit the brakes. Or how the young music go? Skirt. Ain't that the sound that they use? And hit it, set it, hit it, skirt. And the center, skirt. Ain't that how the rap go today? Hit it, skirt. All right, so skirt. We're going to do a skirt. Hold on. People People thought, wait, whoa. A 10.49 at the trials, and you get to the Olympics and you run a 10.61? Huh. People question that. People wanted FloJo tested. She was not just walked in, passed through. She was not just supremely celebrated. She was not supremely celebrated. Hold on, I got my man Coop. Excuse me 1 second. I know if you're on radio, you don't see me, but I got to invite my man Coop back in. I'm not sure exactly why he didn't get the invite, but he told me he didn't get the invite, so I just want to make sure we get him in space and get him waiting and get him on. But if you want to go back to FloJo once again really quickly, FloJo was questioned. Her time was questioned back then because the testing and it's a little different leading into the World Championships, or excuse me, the trials leading to the Olympics. Ben Johnson, you guys all know the 30 for 30 scandal on Big Johnson. When he got busted, he didn't do it at the Olympics. He did it before the trials. It came out. He was doing it training up to the trials. He won some of them fastest. He ran some of those fastest times of his at the trials. Now, when you go to the Olympics, you want to, you got to clean up. You can't do the stuff that you was doing before as far as the juice goes and the PED goes. So the times go down. So I'm just looking at that in history. The times go down. You could say the same thing about Sha'Carri Richardson. Her fastest times last year, she ran an 11 fat on April 10th. She ran a 10.74. She ran a 10.72. She ran, and listen, and from May 23rd on, 11.53, 11.44, 11.14 this past weekend, the 11.14 this past weekend. Guys, your time does not drop off like that unless something's going on. Now, I don't want to plant that bug, but I also know, like college sports, track is dirty. I want to believe Usain Bolt really wowed us for 3 Olympics. I really do. But if people remember, he got smoked at his first Olympics. I don't know how the hell you got that much faster. I'm not sure how you got that much faster. As far as your top speed goes, but okay. If you ever got caught, it's like Barry Bonds, right? Barry Bonds has never been caught. Do I think he juiced? Yeah, I think he juiced. His head was as big as a car tire. His head was bigger than mine. And my man Akeem from my high school, who does stand-up comedy now, he loves sports. He's a 49er fan. He used to joan on my head all the time. Barry Bonds' head was bigger than mine. So something was going on. And now you see him now, he about as big as a broomstick. Like, come on. Same with Aguirre. Same with Sosa. Sosa didn't change so much, he white now. He got white skin and blonde hair and blue contacts. Sosa said, damn, just the body. I see ball, I hit with stick. And then after baseball is over, I less all muscle. I change skin to white skin so I look light. I put blue contact in like motion, aloe blue. I want to look like VJ, so I put the blue eye in. And then I go quiet. Then I go away quiet. I marry fake breast white woman, and then I go. I never come baseball again. I don't care about Hall of Fame. I make all the monies. I have all the ladies. I have all the chicas. I have all the bonita senoritas. I okay. But when I play for the Chicago Cubs, I see ball. With stick, I hit ball over fence. It's fence has glass and plant on the wall. Wrigley Field, like the chewing gum. Like the gum you put in mouth for fresh breath to chew, that's the name of field I hit the ball. Like, dude, your body changes. Also, too, go back and just look at the footage. Does Sha'Carri look like she did when she ran that time? She was cut. You look at some of those stills and some of them pictures, I'm kind of jealous. I almost want to call her and ask her what her diet is. Like, what are you eating? You don't eat bread, do you? Yo, Sha'Carri, you don't eat bread, do you? Or you eat biscuits? Damn, you don't eat biscuits neither? How about cheese grits with butter? Damn, you don't eat no cheese grits? I got to cut out the cheese grits? What about half a bag of Gold Harbor Road gummy bears while I'm watching DVR Sports at like 2 in the morning? I don't sleep that off? That sticks with you. Okay, damn. All right. I'm all fucked up. I got the game wrong. I'm just saying. You look at some of these times. The 1072 was April 10th. The 1072 was April 10th. After April 10th, 1074, 1077, 1153, 1144, 1114, and she quit on Saturday. She quit on Saturday. That was another problem that I had. You can't defend nobody that quits. You can't take up for nobody that quits in sports, but you want me and the rest of the professional journalism world to go easy on her ass? Fuck out of here. Not happening. And once again, it's got nothing to do about black. It's got nothing to do about women. Everybody, like I said, everybody that knows me, they know where I stand. They know where I stand with my black athletes and how I stand about my peoples. Don't get all this buttery, vanilla-y fine shit you see sitting here. I'm black. I know it may not look like, but trust me, I'm black. I fucks with my people. But on this one right here, she's dead ass wrong. And interview after interview after interview after interview, she keeps proving it. Listen to some of these other times, guys. Also, too, even in indoor track in the 60 meters, she's a 7.27 girl. That's 7th all time. That's outstanding. I'm not saying she's not good. I'm not saying she can't run. But she is not on the class of Elaine Thompson-Herah, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. She's not on their level. Number 1 time all time, 10:49, Flojo, 89. Number 2, Elaine Thompson-Herah, just this past week at a 10:54. Also in Tokyo, just 2 weeks ago, guys, she ran a 10:61. And Sha'Carri is still 10/100ths of a second behind her. In track, that's a body length. It's not close. 3rd all-time Flojo at a 10.61, also with a 10.62. Shelly-Ann Price also runs a 10.63. Carmelita Jeter, if you guys remember her, she ran a 10.64. Flojo again in 88 with a 10.7. Flojo 88. 88 is, you think about 88. Jordan's year, 88. Jordan, that's the year of the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. 38, 9, and 7 or something crazy like that. That's Jordan 88. Flojo in 88. 88's used in rap songs. You know what I'm saying? Back in the straight, back in 88, or back on this date, back in 88. Y'all know the rappers use it. I can't rap. I probably just fucked up somebody's lyric, but that's fine. Marion Jones in 99. She ran a 10.7. In 98, she ran a 10.71 twice. In 98, she also ran a 10.72 3 times, and she cheated. She got caught doping. She had the dope to put up those times. Also, if you remember Gail Devers, she was my boo-boo. And Miss Gwen Torrance, that was my little black athlete, female boo-boo too. 10.81, 10.82. That's kind of where Sha'Carri Richardson is. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You do not have the 6th best time ever. No one can ever take that from me. No, you don't. It's dropped down to 12 now, and it's going to keep dropping down. She's bad at sportsmanship. She's bad at self-awareness. And I'm going to just say it. She has the look and mark of an athlete who is, and rightfully so, she's trying to get a bag to get her family out the hood. She's trying to get a bag to take care, and I get it. That part I get. That part I won't knock at all. My man Hawk says Sosa is a summer bunny. My man Hakeem on my IG says Sosa is a summer bunny white girl now. This kid is funny. This guy is funny. Not kid, he's a grown-ass man. He's got 2 lovely sons, little young kings that he's raising as like a single dad, man. I respect that shit out of him. But he's also a young budding stand-up comedian. His first time on stage was at my comedy special that I taped in 2019 back in Babylon, back in Woodbridge, Virginia. Great turnout, too. Somebody pulled me aside that night and was like, dog, this place don't look like this unless it's a popular go-go band on Saturday night. I was like, I know. I know. How Spice Items do that shit. Whatever. I don't know. That's his thing. I don't try to do it. But I think it's funny, though, for him when you do that shit. Anyway, when you look at a lot of these times, I just question, is her trial time, was it real? Her body, the way she looked, she did not look like this past month, looked like that this past Saturday. And she said she took a month off. I was just doing a lot of things, going through what I'm going through, modeling. But then wanted to make excuses afterwards and say, oh, well, there's no excuse. No excuses. No excuse. You made an excuse already. You said you going through a lot. That's an excuse. You said you wasn't training as hard the last month because you was modeling. That's an excuse. But she's putting that out there because she has the look of an athlete that's going for a bag right now. She'll be on a reality show in 2 years. Y'all know how often I'm right about shit like this. I've been doing VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct for 7 years now. We can go back over the years. All my shows are kept on record. I don't delete shit. We can go back and just think about the off-the-wall stuff I've called that is cashed in. And I came on this show, and I went on other shows. I was also on the Fly Route podcast with my homeboy that does that show from Twitter. I was on Fox Sports Radio with Brian No, with the No Show, right after she got caught with the weed and all that stuff. And I said it then. I said, look, number one, I hope the time is right. I hope she's clean. Number two, she has poor self-awareness, and where the hell is her team? That Good Morning America interview where she can't stop bouncing around. Everybody was like, oh man, look at her energy. She can't wait to get back out there. Look, I said, no, she looks uncomfortable. I take psychology in school, okay? I said my minor's going to be in that shit. I had a bachelor's in journalism, a minor in psychology. I'm watching her, I'm like, she looks super uncomfortable. She does not look like she's okay right now. Where the fuck is her team? On the flip side of that, I had a conversation with a friend of mine today, and I asked him, is this a setup? Are they just letting her talk herself out of her endorsements? Because you can't take them from her right now. Not in today's climate. Not in today's climate with social justice and social equality. You cannot take them from her. That would be, because I'll even stand in line for that. I'd be like, oh man, y'all just did that shit because she black. If she was a white girl running and talking trash, y'all done got somebody to her and calmed her down and trained her and got her PR together how to speak. Listen, I know a lot of black people. I had a female friend of mine hit me up today. Why do black women gotta be humble? People are threatened when a black woman talks. So I'm like, listen, that's not talking strong. She's talking stupid, okay? Stop it. Maya Angelou talks strong. Michelle Obama talks strong. Felicia Rashad, a.k.a. Claire Huxtable, talks strong. Jill Scott sings and talks strong. Erykah Badu sings and talks strong. She sounds like somebody from Love and Hip Hop. Let's just say it, people. Let's just be honest and put it out there. Anybody listening in the chat, holler at me on my IG. Holler at me at the chat on YouTube. Like, come on now. She seems like she should be on Love and Hip Hop. I'm trying to stay away from the G word. But I'm also from that era. I'm from that community. I got cousins and family, and I done dated women from that community. That train's never late. The apple don't fall far from the tree. And I'll finish the rant up with this. You know I would love to see get their hands on her, but privately. Don't make a big fucking show about it like you do with everything else you do. Don't brag about it. Privately. You know who I would love to see get them hands on her, who probably understands what she's going through right now? Clutch Sports and LeBron James. And you guys all know I am not a LeBron James fan. I don't like the guy. Never will. Never have. Never will. Kobe's my guy. It's just the way I'm built. I don't like the fuddy-duddy. We don't have to go through it. Y'all already know. But, man, if there's a guy who could call her and say, listen, mama, this conversation doesn't go past us until I'm ready for it to go past us. Yes or no? Is that understood? Yes or no? And if it does, deal off. Yes. Okay. This is Rich Paul and LeBron James from Clutch Sports. We're going to pull you away from Nike. We're going to buy you out of your Nike deal. Or we're just going to, I know Phil. I'm going to call Phil. We'll smoke. We'll have some yak. And I'll get you over to our side. Let me show you how you do this. Because right now, like LeBron is probably the most scrutinized athlete of my time. I don't think there's anybody more scrutinized than LeBron. Who would know better to put her on the right road than LeBron James? For as much as I don't like the guy, I always admit he's super smart. He's business savvy as shit. He's built an empire not just for himself, for Rich, for his homeboys from Akron. He knows how to do this. Who better to get their hands on this lost sister of mine? And she's still my sister. But as a sports journalist, as a professional one, people, I got to call her like I see it. I would love to see Clutch Sports pick up the phone and keep it quiet. Don't put it on social media. Don't pat yourself on the back. Don't big it up. But save this young lady. Because Beats ain't doing it. Nike ain't doing it. Whatever modeling you ain't doing. She was at the ESPYs. The ESPYs was here in LA. When I saw her, I'm like, why? What are you doing? Why are you here? For what? You just got suspended. This is probably the last place you should be. that told me all I needed to know about her right then and there. It's about the celebrity. It's about the money. It's about the bag. I understand if you want to take care of your family. That's fine. But there's a way to do that. And there's a way to do. I got my baton. Okay, it's really not my baton. It's my twirly time. It's my son's. His twirl. He likes this. But it looked like a, oof. Oh shit, y'all see my turn? Y'all see my turn? Y'all see my turn? Boy, fuck with me, get me on the track. All right, moving on, man. That's enough of that. Listen, LeBron James, I ain't a fan of you, man. I don't like you at all, but I think you would be great for Sha'Carri Richardson, and Sha'Carri needs to take that phone call. All right, moving on. I want to get into some other stuff, man. We got some football to talk. We got some NFL to talk. I want to talk about this idea that Ryan Fitzpatrick saved Tua Tagovailoa last year with the Miami Dolphins. It's just the biggest piece of horse shit that you ever want to hear. And once again, it plays into my theory of the way the black and brown quarterback is talked about and treated, man. But I'm going to bring in my special guest right now. I don't want to keep him waiting, man. Me and this cat are in a chat group over on Twitter with some really, really good sports talk guys. Y'all know me. I have complete open invite to my show. Call number is also up 2 on the line. You guys can see it there on the bottom line. Coming to the end, 860-614-8257. I don't care who you are, where you from, who you like, who you don't. You call VJs on Sportsmanlike Conduct, we'll put you on. You start saying dumb shit, we'll just say thanks for the call and just hang up. So if you're going to come, call, keep it a buck, keep it real. Let's just talk some real sports. And you don't have to agree with me, and I give my people the floor. I give everybody the floor, as I'm about to give this guy right here, man. My man told me I could just let him know that he is Minnesota sports pain doctor. He's the Minnesota sports pain doctor. And I'm pretty sure that might have a lot to do with like the Timberwolves or the Vikings, because those are his team. And it's been a while since the Twins won something. The T-Wolves, Minnesota Vikings, y'all didn't know me. Y'all know that's my crush squad right there. So I ain't going to bang on them. And then they do got the Minnesota Wild up there in hockey, which is, they're good some years. I watch hockey, so I know they go to the playoffs from time to time, man. But my man, Mr. Sports Pain Doctor, they call him Big. I heard the Honey Dips call him Big Coop. His name is Cooper White. But I heard the Honey Dips call him Coop W. Y'all welcome my man Coop W. Nah, you tell me, Pippin, if I had your hands, I'd cut mine off.
On this, huh?
Say it again?
You really will let anyone on this, huh?
Yeah, I'll let anybody on. Even somebody with cartoon drawings with fucking Christmas lights up, they can come get on. It don't matter to me.
I'm white, they're on all the time.
You know what's funny? I got Christmas lights up right here that's on like a lamp, that's spiraled on a lamp. And I remember my wife was like, are you going to take the Christmas lights down? I was like, no. They add feng shui to the room.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Well, see, white people say vibe. Black people trying to be bushy, we say feng shui.
That's funny because white people trying to be black when they say vibes.
It's like, yeah, you know, bros, it's my vibe. Black people like, yeah, nigga, you know, this it's my feng shui. And you're like, feng shui. Oh, feng shui, I know her. She still fuck with Ray Ray on Crenshaw. I know feng shui. No, anyway, talk to us, man.
Talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick, though. I know I'm a Minnesota guy, but I'd love to talk about the 7, maybe 6 good games he's going to give you this season.
Man, first of all, Washington is in a whole lot of trouble because they have a defense. I love Rivera, but your quarterback is still Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is a career. I got the numbers right here. He is a career 59, 86, and 1. 3,069 yards over 5,054 attempts, 60%. 35,000 yards, 223 touchdowns, and 169 interceptions. I'm still trying to figure out how he's in his 17th year. And I know the whole Harvard thing, and I listen.
He doesn't even have a good record for a backup. If you're a backup, you're supposed to win at least half your games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to have a good record for a backup, and he'll give you 6, he'll give you 7 for sure, and he will ball out, and everyone on Twitter will be going fucking nuts, and but then it's going to fall off the cliff. It's done. There's no way he's leading you to sustained playoff success. There's no way.
I don't know how much you know about it, but I know you were just listening to the Sha'Carri Richardson rant. Just give me a few minutes on that. Am I off kilter? Am I a hater? But talk. You've seen all the backlash. You've seen all the shit. Have the floor, bro.
situation, and I was kind of half listening. But I don't think you're too. I don't think you're too off base though, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna send someone to anyone to get straightened out in the sports world that has to put their arm around them, I'll send them to LeBron.
Yeah.
Sure, that's got to be top 5 no matter. You know what I mean? Who else is gonna do that?
Well, he knows about scrutiny. He knows about scrutiny. He knows about the fans coming after you. And like I said, I'm not a fan, and I know that shows I'm not a hater. I'm not a fan. I don't like the guy. But if I were in charge of a young athlete that was going through what Sha'Carri was going through, I would call somebody that I knew could get me to Rich Paul and say, listen, could you guys take her? Because if not, she's going to talk herself out of all her endorsements, and she's not really true athletes, and I'm a former athlete. You do not show up half-ass. She showed up half-ass Saturday, and it showed. And she got her ass wiped, and she got her ass. The Jamaican girl said, oh, pun, little girl, here go your tail back. We give it back to you now. We wipe your ass with the track, and now you may have it back. Go.
And you're 100% right about the Jamaicans, though. Not enough credit for what they do in that sport. Are you kidding me?
Man.
Not even close.
Man, just phenomenal.
Shit for decades.
Yeah, Usain Bolt gave us 3 Olympics. And then people have to remember, you have a Johan Blake who actually beat Usain in one of the world championships, and he beat Usain in one of the Jamaican trials. Now, that's like his little brother. I'm not sure if Usain, I saw the race, so I'm not sure if Usain pulled up a little bit away. Like I said, I saw the race. I'll just leave it at that. And I get it, because I probably would let my little brother win the trials, knowing that I'm going to smoke everybody at the Olympics. That's just the kind of heart that I have. But anyway, let's slide over to football, man. We'll get off Ryan Fitzpatrick. Talk preseason with me. You are a big Vikings fan. I'm going to let you rant for a little while. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And just get into the Vikings. And then after that, I want to talk some of these rookie quarterbacks. I want to talk some surprises in the NFL. Some teams you think that'll be good that won't be. And some teams that people are thinking are going to be shitty that you think are going to be pretty good. So you got the floor. Cooper White. My white guest today, Cooper White. Look at that.
Whitest boy around. All right, so let's start with the Vikings. That'll get me on a good roll there.
There we go. Go ahead, brother.
So you know what? All right, good off season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You took advantage. I mean, people come at me saying "Oh, see," because I kind of be a Kirk hater on Twitter sometimes. People come at me "See, they can sign anyone they want. His contract don't matter." But that they're failing to take into account the special context of the off season. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
In any other year, if the cap goes up like it normally does, so the Vikings ain't bringing in Breland. They definitely ain't bringing in Richardson. You're telling me Richardson wouldn't get a contract if the cap wasn't going up? They're not getting him on 1-year deals. They're not even getting Peterson for $10 million probably. So it was cool that they leveraged that situation to improve their defense. But man, I don't know. I'm not vibing. For me, Kirk Cousins, and this might sound crazy, doesn't pass the starting NFL QB vibe check. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree with you on that majorly. Yeah, I excuse me. I disagree with you on that majorly because this is how I look at a quarterback. If you're not losing the games, then you have to back off the quarterback. The games they lost last year were not on Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins last year, I believe, and I don't have it written down. I just think I memorized it from talking about him before. 34 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and 4,300 yards, 42 or 4,300 yards. And he was doing that with a rookie wide receiver who was just learning the league. And that's because you had a guy by the name of Dalvin Cook, who I am in love with as a football player, comes from my side crushing college football, Florida State. I think he's the best complete back in football. You could do so many things with him. And when you have that, it's going to open up for the quarterback. Kirk Cousins didn't have that at other stops. When I look at the Vikings, like you said, I look at the defense, and Kirk Cousins didn't tell the front office to dismantle the secondary in one offseason and get rid of everybody. Xavier Rhodes, people try to say, oh, he was getting beat. Yeah, he was getting beat because he had to cover for 5 and 6 damn seconds. You had no pass rush.
They needed to put him in a zone. I agree with you. And I agree with you that it's not his fault. Not even close.
Yeah.
But whose fault it is secondary to will it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't blame Kirk. I don't blame Kirk for the team construction, which I think has been, kind of hot, kind of cold, subpar overall, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can slice his stats up 100 ways and say elite quarterback, elite quarterback, elite quarterback, elite quarterback. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't produce on the field at a high level. He's a career 500 quarterback. He has a career .163 win percentage against winning teams. And I know.
Ooh, super stat.
No one wins against winning teams. But, like, the good ones win, like, you know, .36 or something.
Yeah. You know, the good ones beat good teams.
That's egregious.
Yeah.
1.63 is egregious, or .163. And, like, overall he has the stats, but then you know there's going to be that week where he just drops back and just throws the ball straight to a linebacker on the first play of the game, and you're cooked from the beginning. You know you're cooked. And one more thing. And, like, I'm going to come off as the biggest Kirk hater. I don't hate him. I just don't think it's working the way it's like, you know what I mean? It's just not working.
Yeah.
If you're down by 6, minute 50 on the clock, call it one timeout, call it two if you want. How do you feel when Kirk Cousins is under center then? And the answer is bad. You feel bad. You feel honest with yourself. You feel bad about it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, I like this team, and I don't want to be like negative guy. Like, no, I like Zimmer as a coach.
Yeah.
He knows how to run the room, you know?
Yeah.
He knows how to run that room. You don't survive 7 years in the NFL without getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
As a head coach, if you can't run the room. He's a good head coach. Like, that defensive line is going to be nasty this year.
Yep.
That's a stat.
Yep.
Now, Everson Griffin just signed today, too.
Yep.
So we got Everson Griffin rotating in with Daniil Hunter, who's looking fresh, by the way. Does not look like that neck is bugging him at all.
Well, before the injury, he might have been a top 3 D lineman in football.
I mean, if you were watching, he was, but you know, that's a crowded room. That's a crowded discussion. He's in the discussion for top 3 no matter what.
Yeah.
You can't have it without him, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right.
That's a crowded room, though. That's a crowded top 3. And that whole defensive line is just going to tear people up. The secondary, it's hard to say.
Young.
At least you got...
It's young.
Yeah. Solid. Right? And there's no weak links. There's no more weak links as long as we don't get injuries, which we will get injuries because everyone gets injuries. No weak links on that defense. I don't know, though. What are they getting, like 9.5? Over under?
Yeah, they're 9.5. I got it right here. They're 9.5. Is DraftKings has them at 9.5. Betting House and Bally's. I go by Bally's because I like to go out to Vegas and I like to sit in Bally's and look at the big board with all the games. I've done radio shows from there. I've done podcasts from there. So I listen to Bally's. I pay attention to Bally's a lot. They got them at 9.5, and I think that's about right. Here's the thing. I would go under because I think Chicago is going to make the mistake of starting Dalton, and that's going to put them behind. And I think the Lions are. I watched both full preseason games of the Lions, and I understand each game doesn't have all starters, but I'm a football savant. You cannot tell me that you cannot pick things apart from preseason. I'm not buying that shit because if that was the case, coaches would never play. They would never play their starters. You have to play people to see what you got. And when I've watched both full games, and I tweeted both times. Well, the Lions are in midseason form in August. Yeah. They can't run. They can't pass. They can't tackle. They can't cover. They can't. It's like, here's the line. I don't care. Dan Campbell, former Dolphin interim coach. I get it. Rah-rah guy, big still huff guy, looks good and all, but bruh, that don't do shit on Sundays.
You gotta produce. And
yeah.
You're talking to grown men too. Grown men don't play that shit.
Nah.
Like you come at like a grown-ass NFL linebacker with some rah-rah shit, and you better be able to back that.
Yeah, exactly.
So soon. And not that he hasn't yet, but it hasn't looked good. I mean, my boys ain't look good either, so. Here was the thing. Here was the thing about that game. If you want to go to the Denver because I watched the Denver preseason games, I have literally you and I are kind of just meaning one thing that you will learn about me is I am the DVR guru. There's nobody that you know that DVRs more sports and watches more sports than I do. Sometimes I make it a mission. Like for instance, they just had Euro Cup soccer. I watch soccer. I made it a point. I DVR'd and I watched every single match all the way to the end. So if I were going to talk about it, I could talk about that group play game. Or I could talk about that quarterfinal. I'm the same way with the NFL. With football,
I'm psychotic with it because I'm high school, college, and pro because I call high school games out here for Fox Sports West. So I call high school, so I'm into high school, and then that leads to college, and then, of course, that leads to pro. So I have literally, I think maybe there's 2 preseason games I've missed. I haven't got to the Rams and Raiders game yet, which I'll probably watch later tonight while I'm doing some schoolwork. And there's another game I think I missed out on. So I've watched plenty of it. So I did watch the Denver-Minnesota game.
I watch the ones I have to.
Oh, no. I'm a guy who does 25 fantasy leagues, okay? Let me let you know who you're dealing with right now, okay? Let me let you know. You see the name on the screen? That's real. That's not fluff. That's real shit. I'm the Big Vanilla sports king, baby. Like this is I didn't get this far in this industry, and I'm just getting my journalism degree, okay? There are people with their degree already that I've kind of, leaped, but it's the passion, it's the love, it's the thought process in the mind for the game. But I watched the Denver-Minnesota game. That felt like just like Denver came out playing that game like it was a regular season game for Teddy B.
Yeah.
It felt like that
was a message from Zimmer.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the message was.
Yeah.
He was trying to say something either, stop drafting fucking scrubs in the 3rd and 4th round because you guys are trash, and if I'm going to take the fall for it, y'all better know that this guy's drafting like crap in the 3rd and 4th round.
Yep.
Or maybe it was, hey, y'all look like crap. Let's run the 3rd string. Let's have it be the Rose Jr. game. Fuck you. I'm the coach. I run this shit.
The way he ate your team up in the post game. Man.
He's uncorked.
Yes. Man, he came off. And real quick, I always give shout outs to people that are listening. I'm on actually 4 platforms right now, but over here, I'm on my IG. My man Luis Estrada from Spectrum Sports, multi-time Emmy winner. I'm going to keep addressing him as that because the guy's got like 35 Emmys, and I'm trying, as I said earlier in the show, I'm trying not to be jealous of him, but, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, all right, dude, like, fuck your Emmys, okay? Stop texting him. Nah, that's my guy. I love him. He says that Dalvin Cook, as long as he said, love Dalvin Cook as long as he's healthy. He says, enjoy golf, Detroit. And then he says, thank you, Detroit. He's a lifelong Rams fan. Former season ticket holder, his father was. So he used to go watch Youngblood and those guys when they were here in LA the first time. His dad was a season ticket holder. So he's loving Matthew Stafford out there.
I'll get into that. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, no, we're gonna go around. We're gonna leave your Vikings alone because all you really did was shit on Kirk Cousins the whole time. So we're gonna leave your Vikings alone. Let's go to the Rams. Let's go to the Rams. Luis, if you're still watching, if you're free, I know you might be expecting. If you're free, call in and I'll take your call, and the 3 of us will talk the Rams real quick. I actually really like this team. I love their defense. Once again, one of my side crush, Florida State, Jalen Ramsey out of there. I love him as a shutdown corner. I don't care what video you want to post during the team practices in the summer. Everybody's going to get beat. Everybody's going to, drop a ball or throw a bomb. I don't care about that shit. But I know on Sundays, after September, him, Donald, that defense. I love the offense. Cooper Kupp. Woods, who I saw in high school calling his games out here before he went to USC and then went off to the NFL. Love the line. Akers is going to hurt. Cam Akers, another Florida State Seminole, that's going to hurt. But I think
they run the outside zone though. They can plug someone in.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. My biggest beef with the Rams is Sean McVay is the most overrated coach in the entire league, and it's because he's young. And because I know that, listen, I'm in LA, so I get it. You're up in San Mateo, California. The guy looks good. He's got the look. He's got the flair. He's young. Listen, I get all of that. And that'll buy you some time. It's like Tomlin with the Steelers. He's stone-faced. He's blue-collar. He's likable. He's a cool dude. So he'll get by. Even when you're there 10-6 and 11-5. Oh, good year. Not for Pittsburgh. You're supposed to be better than that. And you haven't won with your own players. You won with cowards, guys. You ain't won with your own guys. Your guys you got to draft and your GM drafts, y'all ain't done shit with. And a lot of those guys leave. Dupree just left and went to Tennessee. So you just lost a big-time pass rusher. But he reminds me kind of that. And here's my man Luis calling in right now. I'm going to throw him on the speaker right here really fast. But there's guys like that. I know he's innovative. I know he's young, and I know he's got all this offensive guru-ness, but let's get real. We've only seen that shit for 1 year. And that's the one time they went to the Super Bowl. And when he got to the Super Bowl, I understand we want to put it on Belichick. And like I said with the rap music earlier, how today's kids rap. All right, so we're going to do this. Brian Flores called the plays in that game, not Bill Belichick. So and if you go back to last year, Luis remembers this. Rams come out to Miami. Rams are a better football team. I didn't think my Dolphins would win that day. But the Dolphins put that defense on that ass because guess who's calling the plays for Miami? Brian Flores. He just went, and he said after the game, I just went back to the playbook from the Super Bowl. It's the same offense. It's golf. We know, and shut them. Miami sacked them like 5 times. A sack fumble that was picked up by Van Ginkel and ran for a touchdown. Picked them off twice. Like they were on his ass. But McVay, you would think, okay, I've been against this guy before. He called the plays in the defense. He doesn't even have the Patriot team. He's got Tua and no receivers, 3 rookies on the offensive line. They're running 4 different damn running backs. I'm gonna toast this guy today. And got his ass handed to him that day.
Let me ask you. Does Stafford fix that problem?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna let my man Luis Estrada. Listen, I got a better guy for that, man. Coming in from Spectrum Sports. He is one of my good friends. I love this guy to death as a human, not just sports talk. We played in celebrity sports talk radio games together, softball games together. Me and this guy have done 100 shows together on so many different platforms. But over at Spectrum Sports, multi-time Emmy. I want a fucking Emmy. He's got a bunch of these shits, man. It's starting to get to me, Luis. It's starting to get to me, Luis. My man Luis Estrada. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, brother? You know what? I'll tell you what. No matter where I go, I never get an intro quite like what I get from you, even on my own show. I appreciate it, my man.
And my guest right now, Cooper White. Cooper, when we ended our phone call earlier today, and I told you to text me, go ahead and tell us the people. This ain't a setup. What did I tell you, bro? How I feel about my intros?
Oh, yeah. You told me to, give you an intro. And I was like, I ain't got one, but you can call me the Minnesota Sports Pain Doctor, because that's kind of what I function as. In my imagination.
And I told him, I said, bro, I really care about the people I bring on my show, because I don't just bring on no Johnny-come-latelys and no half-asses. So when I intro you, even if you suck, at least the first initial thing will be like, damn, V just talked this dude up. Let me tune in. This dude might be the shit. So I really do care about my intros, man. Luis, talk to me about these Rams, baby. He doesn't think that Stafford. You and I feel different about my man out of West Texas that went to play for them Bulldogs in the SEC between the edges. Talk to me, baby.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know this, and anyone that's heard me over the last 5-6 years knows this. I hated the Jared Goff pick from the very beginning.
Yep.
Before it was even announced, when it was rumored that the Rams got the number 1 pick and they were going to take Jared Goff. I said it then. I'll say it now. Carson Wentz was the better player. Yep. Now, Carson Wentz can't stay healthy, so that nullifies everything. But neither one, I would have taken Carson Wentz. I always thought he was the better athlete. I always thought he was the better quarterback. Jared Goff was not the guy. So now you're going to tell me I can get a guy like Matthew Stafford who's had his issues in Detroit. Yes, but he's never had a running game consistently like they were hoping they were going to get with the Rams with Cam Akers. But of course now Cam Akers is hurt and is gone for the year, so they're going to have to do something with the running back. You've got 3 good receivers. I'm not going to say great receivers. I think Cooper Kupp is going to be.
Kupp's on the edge.
I told you this before, DJ. To me, he is the new Wes Welker in the NFL.
You don't think you don't think Woods? I think Woods is a great receiver. You don't have Woods as great?
I think Woods is really, really good.
Okay.
I don't know if I put him in the great category yet.
Oh, I love him.
See what he does by himself, because he's always been spotted as a number 2 with number 1 potential.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we're going to see, does he going to be able to reach that potential with a quarterback like Matthew Stafford? With Jared Goff, he wasn't going to do it. They tried to force treat Brandon Cooks, who was kind of like, yeah, he could do a little bit of everything, but he didn't do any one thing well. Yeah, he was a good route runner, but he could never really separate and get open. Yeah, if he was this, if he was that was always the thing with him. They had Sammy Watkins for a year, and Sammy Watkins is another guy. Great. He's got the potential to be a really good deep threat. The problem is he's only going to give you 1 or 2 good games a year, very similar to what
usually the first one.
Cooper was talking about with Ryan Fitzpatrick earlier. He's going to give you a couple of really nice games, but if you're going to really move the needle and help you get to the playoff spot, no. I think Woods has the chance now with a guy like Stafford to really elevate to that number one spot. We'll see if he does it. Deshaun Jackson, yes, he's got that deep fly potential. But again, is he going to do more than just give you one or two really, really good, solid games during the year? We'll have to wait and see. But that's been his mantra throughout his career. He'll give you one or two games a year where he's got, 10 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Great. Where is he the other games? That's what we're going to have to find out. The biggest question for me with the Rams is on defense. And people will say, why? They have a great defense. Here's the problem. You got another new defensive coordinator, their third one in the last 3 years. Wade Phillips was let go 2 years ago. They had the guy last year who's now the Chargers head coach, and now you've got a new one. So that's going to be a problem. Also, another problem for the Rams defensively is going to be the loss of Michael Brockers. Now, people will say, who? Michael Brockers, if you watch this team on the opposite side of Aaron Donald, they created havoc for defenses up front. You don't have him anymore. He's in Detroit.
You and I remember last year, you and I talked about him because
happen on that line.
Hold on, real quick. Last year, you and I talked about him. Remember when he got moved to Baltimore, and we texted each other like, "Yo, did you just see Baltimore just got Brockers?" And then something happened with the physical, and he ended up back in LA. So he was going to be out of there. They were trying to get him out of there. He was trying to leave last year.
Yep,
they ain't got the money to pay him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the and I throw this to you in the second, Coop. I don't know if I agree with your standpoint of the D. I love this defense because Aaron Donald erases so many of your deficiencies. Coordinator, linebacker, it does not matter. If 9-9 is ready to go, I'm putting my money on that defense because I'm football 101. Run the football, stop the run. Offensive line play, defensive line. You can have all that other shit you want. You can have the quarterback. You can have the pretty corners and the nice big 6'5", Brandon Marshall looking receiver, or in the slot guy and the gorgeous tight end like a Kelsey or a Kittle or a Gesicki or like any other Grunt, even Grunt. You can have all of that. If you do not have an O-line or a D-line, you have zero shot in the NFL. You're a 7 or 6 win team. That defensive line that they have with Aaron Donald, Jesus. That guy, and it showed in the playoffs. If he's not hurt, who really knows what happens in the playoffs? You and I both did the show before the Seattle game. You and I both picked the Rams, and we picked the Rams to cover, won money on there. And then remember I said that they would have a pick 6 in the first half, and I said the defense would score in the first half. That's how that defense was rolling. That's the defense I see right now. Cool. Jump in there and talk about the Rams defense.
Well, I agree with you a little bit. They're dominant where it counts, right? Like, they got the pass rush, and they got the secondary.
Yes.
Like, they can make it work with that. And they got the one shutdown corner. That gets you a lot. If you can take away the number one weapon and pressure the quarterback up the middle, the closest route from point A to point B when going to the quarterback, like, that'll win you. Like, you can play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can play in the playoffs. You're ready to play in January. Like, but coming back to Matthew Stafford, like, I watched him play a lot of games. I have watched my Vikings play that man a lot. And he has that magic, right? He's got that magic. You need 3 points at the end of a half, end of a game, he's going to get it to you more times than not, for sure. Especially with this wide receiver group, especially with the run game support, which, like you said, he hasn't had for a long, long time. But he also really, really likes to throw the ball to the other team, and he loves to take sacks. Like, I've seen that man throw the ball to Michael Kendricks directly to him more times than I can count, making that man look even better than he is.
I'm laughing that he loves to take sacks.
I'm lose you games. If you're winning with defense and running the ball, turning it over is going to lose you games.
I'm laughing at he loves to take sacks. That shit's funny. I'm laughing at that because I say shit like that, and people go, and like the fan, like if they're a fan of the team, they get mad. They're like, "Oh, I'm sure VJ, he loves it." My line is, "Watch, he gonna fuck up the game. He wants to fuck it up." VJ, I'm sure he doesn't want to. Yeah, he does because he don't want the pressure of winning. He wants to fuck up the game. He gonna fuck the game up. Watch what I tell you right now. So that line of, and he loves to take sacks. That's funny. Let me ask you this, Coop, and I'll throw it back to you to answer and respond to him, Luis. How much of that, in all honesty, do you contribute that to playing for the Lions? It's like playing with the Browns used to be, or playing for the Bengals used to be.
Yeah. I think that you have to attribute some of it, right? You have to attribute some of it, especially in the win-loss department. But, man, I think if you really are, like, a good quarterback, and you are going to elevate your team like a great quarterback does, like very few quarterbacks do, and that's why I think he's not in the top tier, because he never elevated that team. He was subject to the faults of that team. And I know they're not going to go to the playoffs every year. I like some of their head coaches, honestly. I think they moved on a little too quick from Caldwell, but...
Of course.
He's had good coaches, but it comes down to the quarterback so often. And if he's always going to be this guy who never brings his team to, rarely brings his team over 500. Rarely. He never led that team to, a good season. You know what I mean? They, scraped into the playoffs one time and lost a game, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Buccaneers
never. I'm with you. Never won the division. But like I said, and Luis, I throw it to you to rebuttal back to my man Coop White over here. I contribute some of it to Detroit. I contribute some of it to I'm old enough to remember when Barry Sanders was coming out of Oklahoma State after running for 2,000 yards. And in my opinion, I respect Brown and Walter and Dickerson. Those are my top 3 out of my top 4. But the purest running back, I'm talking about take this, this, and go make shit happen. The purest guy I ever saw was Barry Sanders. He walked away. Megatron, think about it. Who's the greatest villain in, robotics cartoon history? It's fucking Megatron. And he was nicknamed Megatron. That's how great and vicious and just like a killer he was. He said bye-bye to that franchise. Two Hall of Famers walk away. Listen, I got a soft spot for Matt. I saw him play out of West Texas High School. I've always had an infatuation with Georgia players. Champ Bailey, Craig Lumpkin, Noshawn Moreno, AJ Green. I could go on. For some reason, I've just always liked to watch Georgia players. Herschel, all the way back to Herschel. So Stafford was one of those guys. So I've always pulled for him in Detroit, but it's like when he got drafted by Detroit, it was like when Peter Warrick got drafted by the Bengals, it was like, fuck. Damn. God, you gotta be kidding me, man. Peter Warrick, and you saw it. Sometimes these franchises, they pull guys down, and I think that was part of it. Luis, I'll throw it back to you. He's saying, bro, he's seen a lot of them being a Viking fan. He's quarterbacking your Rams, and you're a big Ram fan. Talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to disagree with a lot of what he says because he has thrown a lot of picks in the past. And, you were laughing at the comment, he likes to take sacks. Hey, no one likes to take sacks more than Jim Everett, and I lived through that. So I don't, when you start talking about guys wanting to take sacks.
That shit's funny. He loves to take sacks.
Oh, yeah.
That shit's funny. I like that line.
That was a great line. But the thing being is, what I see in the difference between Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Matthew Stafford, yes, he's going to throw some picks. Yes, he's going to make some mistakes. But if I had to choose between the two as a guy that I think is going to get me over the hump and not be afraid to throw that ball, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford every time. Jared Goff he can be accurate when he has time. He can be very good when he has time. But the problem is he's not a guy that's going to lead you to that next level. You can't sit there and say, hey, take the ball. I'm trusting you. Go get us a touchdown. Matthew Stafford, for all of his faults, I trust him more than I trust Jared Goff. And after going through Jared Goff and coming as close as we did to a Super Bowl a few years ago, we get to that Super Bowl. We couldn't move the ball. Couldn't run the ball because Todd Gurley was hurt and they didn't want to acknowledge that. So they said, okay, let's see what Jared Goff could do. Brian Flores handcuffed him. They could not do a damn thing about him because Jared Goff was too afraid. At least now we've got a guy who's not afraid to throw the ball. And to me, that's half the battle. With this core of receivers, when you're talking Woods, Kupp, Johnson, they started using Tyler Higbee a little bit more towards the end last year, which I like, the tight end. So we're going to see
I love Higbee.
How this all works out. I do have concerns now that they don't have a running back. We'll see what they do there because I do think coming over here, the two biggest advantages the Rams had that to give to Matthew Stafford that he didn't have in Detroit was that stellar defense and a consistent running game. We're going to see if they can develop one without Cam Akers.
Go ahead, Coop.
And Darrell Henderson got hurt today.
Yeah, I saw that. Coop's got a question for you. Go ahead, Coop.
How do you feel about their offensive line? I'm genuinely unfamiliar. Do you think that's going to be good enough to keep him clean? He likes to hold on to the ball.
They went through Jared Goff, so anything is possible. I'm just saying it that way. I think the offensive line is always something you can improve on. But as long as you've got Andrew Whitworth on the left side, people talk about his age. He's played great since he's come over from the Bengals here at the Rams, and he's also that lead horse on that offensive line. He's the guy that keeps it together. As long as he's healthy, I think they're going to be fine.
Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson for them bum-ass Jets. Luis, take one and go. And what have you seen? What do you think?
I love what I've seen from Justin Fields so far.
Okay.
His accuracy, the way that he's throwing the ball, the way that he's got command of that offense. I know it's preseason, but he's just got that it factor, and you can tell already that offense believes in him. He already has the trust of his teammates, and that's huge going into an NFL season, especially as a rookie. Do I think he's going to start the season as a starting quarterback? No. I think he should, but I don't think he will. I think they're going to start Nick Foles for just a little bit, but I would say by week 6 or 7, Justin Fields is the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears.
Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, and you want to take a quarterback, or you want to take a different one, or you want to?
Yeah, me.
Yeah. Coop, you want to take Justin?
I like what I've seen out of Zach Wilson personally. That dude, I am impressed. Like, I am impressed. And let me tell you, I know. He's no one's favorite.
You look like a dude that would like Zach Wilson.
I know. I'm a 30-year-old who looks about as old as Zach Wilson looks too.
No, you still. Oh yeah, you look great for 30. I thought you were like 17. I was gonna ask you what time was supper.
Yeah, I already made it. Oh no, my girl cooked tonight. But no, he's getting the ball out quick. They're going to be running that outside zone play action game, which is the most quarterback friendly system taking over the NFL right now. That's going to help, right? And you watch him; he has had, according to PFF, 0 turnover worthy plays since limited sample size. You can never read too much into it. But I'm kind of buying Jet stock overall based on what I'm seeing from him. He's moving. He's getting the ball out quick, and he's not putting it in harm's way. And that system is going to do wonders for him. I'm actually kind of liking the Jets over this year. Don't take gambling advice from me. You're going to lose money. Me personally.
Hold up. I was about to go there. I was about to say, listen, all that shit you just said sounded really, really good. Like, you could have been on the network just now and spit that shit in suburban PA or suburban Jersey, and some Jet fans would have said, "Hey, this Cooper White guy, I fucking like this guy. He's talking good about the Jets. And the Jets told you Zach Wilson, he's gonna do some fucking things. This guy right here, I like this guy." No, Vegas isn't buying it. The opening week against Carolina, the 4.5 points hasn't moved. And I'm watching that. I'm like, okay, because Vegas is watching, and Vegas is like, oh, you know what? You know whose line has moved? The 49ers. Why? Because people think, listen, let me jump in here. Fields I've talked a lot about. I want to talk about Trey Lance, because I don't think he gets talked about enough. Because we're talking a lot about Zach for the bum-ass Jets. We're talking about a lot of Mac Jones because people just don't want Cam Newton to be the quarterback of like the all-American type NFL team. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine. But Urban Meyer is not going to last in the NFL. I give it 2 years on the over and under. I'm going under, and that's 2. So I get the 2. So this year, next year, after next year, he realizes, bro, this ain't college. You can't control the media. You can't go off on the media for stories they write that are true about your fucked up athletes and team and players on your team. We don't want to go through the Florida roster. Like, I lived in Bristol when all that what happened. I was living.
Just in the NFL.
I was living there. Yes, it's a different animal in the NFL, and I think this was a money grab. And for Sean Khan, the owner, he needed a big splash name. Listen, they tried to go after Coward. They tried to go after some big name guys. They tried to go after Harbaugh out of Michigan. And they all looked and said, yeah, I get the number 1 pick, but you got a lot of holes there. And it's not a football town. It's Jacksonville. I can't tell you shit about that city. But anyway, I want to talk about Trey Lance because I have been on record as saying, if you were going to trade up to take Trey Lance, John Lynch, who's kind of running the show now, who I had the pleasure of interviewing for the Hall of Fame inductees virtually. That was so much fun. Shout out to my man, Black Hawk John, that hooked that up for me with the NFL front office. But if you were going to trade up and you were going to take a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo had to be gone by draft weekend. He had to be gone. You can't have this. I'm never, like, it would, like, okay, let's just go through the teams. Justin Fields or Andy Dalton? Who's the future, guys? Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence or Gardner Minshew. I love his name, but it's a really fucked up name. His name is Gardner Minshew. Jesus. But who's the future there?
Yeah.
Trevor.
Oh, of course.
Zach Wilson, and I don't even know the backup for the Jets. Who's it, Flacco?
Oh, Flacco.
It's Flacco.
Yeah, it's Flacco.
Who's the future there?
Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. But in San Francisco, you have this, well, Jimmy G has a such and such record and went to the Super Bowl and blah. That crap, that clouds too much, because I'm watching these games where he's playing against third and fourth teamers and he looks like shit. And that's because his confidence is gone. Colin Cowherd, who I love because he taught me a lot about the business, but I don't always agree with a lot of his takes, and I think he's a very corporate and kind of just structured and just knows how to do. If you want to learn how to do radio, guys, watch Colin Cowherd. That's it. If you want to know how to just structurally do a radio show, sponsorships, all that shit, watch Colin Cowherd. But he did have a good point today where he said his confidence is gone. And there's two or three things that takes a quarterback's confidence. Injury, Carson Wentz, right? Confidence is gone. They draft your backup.
Yeah.
Confidence is gone.
Yeah.
Or your coach loses confidence in you. If the coach didn't lose confidence or the front office didn't lose confidence in him, you never trade up to take Trey Lance. You get a really good player sitting at 11 where they were, and it might have been Micah Parsons at linebacker, which would have stouted that defense even more, because maybe then Dallas gets greedy and moves up for one of the receivers to add firepower. Dallas took Parsons because where they were sitting. But Trey Lance was in the NFL system in college. I don't want to hear about the one game he played or the two. I don't care about that. The scouts, his quarterback coach, everybody that's worked with him that said, no, he can run an NFL offense. We're giving him an NFL offense. And he's running it. And we actually tell him, hey, go call the first 10 plays. And he calls them and he knows what he's doing. Yeah, those people don't say that shit just for no reason. They don't say those things for no reason. That's the only guy you hear that about. We see Justin Fields' arm. We see his maneuverability. We know Trevor Lawrence. I call him AKA the big dude because I'm bald and he's got those locks. You ever fall asleep next to me, I'm going to do you like Homeboy did Shorty, and I'm going to get you I know what you did last summer. I'm going to cut all your shit off and I'm going to lay it around you. You're going to wake up, Trevor Lawrence, with all your shit there. That's how jealous I am with guys with hair. But Trey Lance, and then I'm watching some of the preseason game. Yes, some throws don't look great. I get all that. This whole he's not ready shit, that's media. That's neat. There's no such thing. It's like, are you ready to be a parent? There's no such thing, dog. If it happens, you got to get in there and you got to do the best job you can and hope you grow and hope you move on for that. I like 3 of these 5. I think Mac Jones is a bust because I just don't trust Alabama. I don't trust Alabama quarterbacks. Let me explain. I don't trust Alabama quarterbacks. Luis will tell you, even as a Dolphin fan, I'm not sold in on Tua. I wanted Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. I saw Justin Herbert play in person.
Oh, wow.
I saw Herbert play in person in Oregon with my own eyes from the field. And I watched him. And the play-by-play guy that I was there with that night, he elbows me during commercial break, and he goes, at that point, Miami's like 0-7. They're doing bad. Like, it looks like they're going to end up with the number 1 pick. It's before they won 5 of their last 8 games. They started 0-8 that year. He elbows me. He goes, number 1 overall pick for the Dolphins. I looked, I go, fuck yeah. Height, size, arm, strong. And then I watched the Rose Bowl. Wisconsin is mopping Oregon up and down the field. And then Herbert just goes, okay, get on my shoulders at the fucking 8-minute mark in the third quarter, and I'll lead you guys to victory since we can't win this shit as a team. That's something you can't measure. That's something I look on film and I go, yeah, see, I need that. Because you're going to need that in the NFL. It's no surprise people are picking the Chargers to maybe surprise some guys this year.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen,
It's the NFL starting quarterback vibe check, like I said.
Exactly.
Like I said earlier in the
Exactly. New coach, but you're looking at your quarterback. You got Keenan Allen, one of the best receivers, top 5 or 6 in my book, one of the best route runners. Shout out to 703 Manassas Park, Virginia, where he played high school football, where I'm from. Well, not Manassas, but 703. You got the tight end. You got some weapons on offense. You go, hey, man, Raiders still fixing their defense, right? Denver's defense, the Chiefs, we know what the Chiefs are, but don't mean they can't be had. The Raiders beat them in Kansas City last year, putting up 35-plus points. So we've seen these teams, these great teams have lows. He's one of those guys I think that can be that quarterback to take that leap this year that people aren't really watching. So back to Alabama quarterbacks, I don't believe in Tua, so therefore I don't believe in Mac Jones. Because at Alabama, everybody's open. At Alabama, for the last decade, you either turn and hand to Trent Richardson, Ingram, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris. 4 running backs in the last 7 years, those quarterbacks have been able to turn and hand the ball to. You've been able to throw to Calvin Ridley. You've been able to throw to Julio Jones. You've been able to throw to Jalen Waddle. You've been able to throw to Henry Ruggs. Come on. It's not that hard, and I can't do it because I'm old. And I throw like a girl. Hold on, let me get this out. And I throw like a girl, okay? But it's probably not that hard for a 5 or a 4-star quarterback to go into Jalen Hurts, freshman, took the job. Tua Tagovailoa, freshman, took the job. Yeah. Mac Jones, Tua beat out Mac in college, and Mac was a class above him. And Bryce Young from modern day out here in Santa Ana, the word was it came down to the last day. He pushed Mac Jones to the brink as a true freshman to start for that job, but they made the right choice. Say, you know what? Let's go with the senior because we got this freshman for the next 3 years at least. So let's just go with the senior. It's that close, and it worked out. But you also get the hand to Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. You hand to Najee. I mean, it's not that hard. And to just tab that back to Nick Saban, I'll let you go all the way back to Michigan State. Tell me the NFL quarterback Nick Saban has ever produced. All the way back to Michigan State. The answer is fucking 0. So even though I'm a Dolphin fan, and I'm going to pull for my guy, somebody said, what does Tua got to do to change your mind? He got to take me to a bowl. He ain't got to win it because Marino didn't win his. So I can't hold him to that. But as a kid, as a young buck watching football, Marino took me to one. I got to sit on the floor Indian style and eat Doritos and Ruffles with ranch dressing and shit and eat chili that my mom made in the kitchen watching the Dolphins get their ass whooped by Joe Montana and the San Francisco 49ers. So I have that. Tua has got to at least get me to that on
That's a high bar. That's a high bar.
Oh, all right. What? Bro, I'm tough.
Yeah,
I'm tough.
We gotta expect more. We gotta expect more respect.
Quick sidebar. I'm a lifelong Detroit Pistons fan. I'm very geeked about Cade Cunningham. But someone asked me 2 weeks ago, what does Cade got to do for you, VJ? You want to know what my answer was? And you're going to think I'm a fucking lunatic. I say he's got to be Grant Hill with Kobe results. Now hold that one. Exactly. Exactly, right? You like, VJ, you're fucking crazy, dog. But I'm hard.
No. I think that in my town especially, we don't hold our teams to a high enough standard and we accept good enough way too often, and I think that permeates the culture and is tacit approval for their crap results for the last 30 fucking years.
You know why?
So I'm with you.
You know why, though?
Not quite that far.
No, you know why? I have a great, because this is how much I love sports. Minnesota, where you're from, bro, it's hockey and wrestling before everything else. Football, baseball, and basketball are really like, hey, just get us to a playoff.
Basketball's coming.
Yeah, just get, but Minnesota Wild, Stanley Cup. State wrestling championships, Minnesota college wrestling, bro, that's where you guys, that's where you live. That's just what it is. So, 48 wins in the NBA, yeah. 10 wins in the NFL. Oh shit, yeah. But Brock Lesnar for the state wrestling championship 3 years in a row in the heavyweight division and in college. It's like people cry if he'd have lost. People would have cried. Yeah. Talk to me, Luis. I'll throw to you first. Trey Lance, dog. He needs to be the starter. Jimmy Garoppolo was messing with porn stars. He got unfocused. The guy's lost his confidence. He doesn't look the same at all. He should have never made it past Sunday of the draft. They should have got rid of this guy. And Trey Lance is your future.
Trey Lance is your starting quarterback, period.
Thank you.
Look, I'm going to rehash something that I have said many, many, many times. And I'm going to go with three names that are still currently in the NFL. Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Foles, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
What do they all have in common? They are backup quarterbacks. They are not legitimate starting quarterbacks. I'm so sick and tired of seeing – look, I'm all for anybody getting paid and getting a chance. But what I'm tired of is when people sit there and say, you get a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, he has a good little stretch of 3 or 4 games. All of a sudden, he's the second coming. There's a reason this guy did not play, college at a Michigan, Florida State, Alabama, USC. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he wasn't drafted as a starter in the NFL. Now, does that mean he can't become one? No, but you got to prove it. You got to show it. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady until he went out and won a goddamn Super Bowl. That's when you become and start to elevate yourself. People have this misguided conception that some quarterback goes on a stretch run as a backup, and all of a sudden he's the next big thing. Nick Foles, how many different teams has he been on that for people have said, oh, he's the guy. He's the next guy. And then within a year and a half, he shipped out somewhere else because he couldn't get it done. Yeah, he had a nice run with Philadelphia a couple of years ago. Awesome. Good for him. I'm happy for him. He still does not, that doesn't make him a starting quarterback in the NFL. We've got to stop with this criteria of you get one good stretch and all of a sudden you're a great starting quarterback. Ryan Mallett became a starting quarterback after what he did as a
Big Tex. Oh, shit. Big Tex. That's Big Tex right there, man. That's Big Tex.
Brock Osweiler.
Oh, God. Brock Osweiler. Oh, no.
He got the contract. He got the bag.
Braden Broyles is the one. Broyles. Out of Central Florida, I got drafted by Jacksonville. That's the one where you go.
Matt Flynn, maybe?
Yes.
But Matt Flynn, that's not fair. That's not fair. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna defend Matt Flynn. Seattle had no business giving him the deal that they gave him as a free agent. That was the problem. It wasn't him. Remember, when that deal was made, people were like, what the Matt Flynn, he filled in for Favre and won a few games. And he couldn't beat out Russell Wilson.
No.
Right. But that's my point, though. You've got guys who have gotten paid, and I'm all for it, and they've gone on to say, this is the next guy as a backup when they didn't prove anything yet. Give them a chance to actually prove something. Yeah, you have a nice stretch run. Yeah, that's great. But what happens when the defensive coordinators all get tape on you? And it takes about a year to really see what you got. See, can the quarterback make adjustments? Can you move and adjust when the defensive coordinator adjusts? That's the problem. That's the difference. And we've got to stop as media, as fans, and understand that these guys are backups for a reason. Not everyone's going to turn out to be Tom Brady backing up Drew Bledsoe. It's not going to happen. Enjoy it while you can, but don't sit there and think that your backup is going to become the next All-Pro Hall of Fame quarterback, because 9 out of 10 times it's not going to happen.
Luis, Coop, I'm gonna let you get this in a second on this. Luis, you heard what I said a few weeks ago. One of my biggest pet peeves in sports: stop trying to make coaches too. Stop trying to make people what the fuck they're not. Don't fail the eye test. Watch believe what you see. Cut the volume off. Stop watching these debate shows every damn day. It's psychology. It's gonna filter in. It's like the pretty girl that has to keep telling you how pretty she is. Sooner or later, you start to look at her and you go, you know what? She is kind of cute. If you have to say kind of, that means she's not. That's why she's got to keep telling you. So if TV keeps telling people certain things over and over, people start to go, just to stick with Ryan Fitzpatrick for a second. Just listen. Give me 60 seconds. Cool. I'm throwing it to you after this.
That's cool. Go as long as you
His
want.
longest 10 years with the Buffalo Bills, he had 80 touchdowns and 64 interceptions in 4 years. Okay. For the bum-ass Jets, his highest throwing year is 3,900 yards. He threw 31 touchdowns and 15 interceptions for the bum-ass Jets. They were 6-10 that year. The following year, it drops all the way down to 2,700 yards in 15 games for the bum-ass Jets. 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Sounds a lot more like him. He's never thrown for 4,000 yards. He only has 1 year of over 24 touchdowns. He has 5 times he's thrown 15 or more interceptions. In 2020, when he so-called saved Tua, I love these numbers. Guys, he was 3-3 as a starter. In the third game they won, he threw 3 interceptions at home against the bum-ass Jets. He tried to throw that game away. If the defense doesn't pitch a shutout and get 2 interceptions of our own inside the red zone, hey, that's a 21-14 game in the fourth quarter. That's a different football. And the whole time I'm watching that game like this, I'm like, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he better not throw this guy. He better not throw this there. Because if you go back to New England beat us opening week. Cam Newton had 3 rushing touchdowns on 3 short yard runs, and they beat us 21-11 or 21-12, 24-12, something of the score. But Ryan Fitzpatrick threw an interception in the end zone. Then on the next possession, we get the ball back. We're moving, driving. At that point, it's a 17-10 football game or like a 17-9 football game. You get a touchdown. You're in this damn game, opening week, on the road in New England against Bill Belichick and the hated Patriots. What does he do inside the 40-yard line? Throws another damn interception in the fourth quarter. So I don't want to hear this shit about he's saving out. And it drives me crazy because I don't want to play the color card, but y'all know I'm the big vanilla color card. And y'all know in sports, when it comes to the black and the brown quarterback, you can try to deny the shit all you want to. I can take you back to Warren Moon, who won a Rose Bowl, who beat Michigan and was Pac-10 Player of the Year and had to go to Canada and win 5. LeBron and Dwayne Wade, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. 5 Grey Cups. 5 in a row before someone named Jerry Glanville in Houston goes, you know what? I'm trying to do this new thing called run and shoot where we don't play a fullback. And we have Ernest Givens, Haywood Jeffries, Drew Hill, and Webster Slaughter, who we just got as a free agent from the Cleveland Browns, who was a Pro Bowl receiver. And we have Mike Rozier as a running back. God, I wish if I had a quarterback. Well, I got this Chandler guy, but boy, I tell you, that guy up in Canada, he looks pretty good. And he comes in, and next thing you know, 12-4, 13-3, 12-4, 11-5, leading the league. I mean, so don't challenge anybody listening. Don't try to challenge me on that shit. This was simply Ryan Fitzpatrick, like Luis just said. Like, the guy didn't go to Alabama. He didn't go to Syracuse. He didn't go to Carolina. He didn't go to Ohio State. He went to Michigan. He went to Harvard. And yeah, you're smart. Good job. But trust me, I'm pretty sure if Alabama or somebody wanted him back then, he might have been like, I can always go back to Harvard and get my degree when I'm older. I mean, Myron Rolle from Florida State went to Florida State, but he is now like some type of like top-notch neurosurgeon. I'm pretty sure Princeton, Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, those schools wanted him back then, but he's like, but I want to go play for Bobby Bowden. Rest in peace, my man, Bobby Bowden. I want to go play for Bobby Bowden, but I can always go back. And guess what he did? He just went back and did the shit that he could have did at 8. So I don't want to hear that shit. But 9 games as a Dolphin starter. 183 for 264, 68%, pretty good. 2,091 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Guys, 13-8 is a horrible. That is a +2 ratio of turnovers to touchdowns. In the 6 games he started, he was 3-3. These are the teams he beat. He beat the Jags, number 1 overall pick. He beat the bum-ass Jets twice. The number 2 overall pick. Oh, guess who else he beat? The San Francisco 49ers, the number 3 overall pick. He beat the worst team, the second team, and the team that was so bad, they traded up to number 3 to get the 3rd pick. So this idea that Ryan Fitzpatrick saved Tua, saved the Dolphins, is a bunch of media bullshit. What, the Raiders game? Against that putrid defense? Yeah. 9-13, 182 and a touchdown. I get it, guys. The play where he's getting his face mask pulled, it's a lucky, like, trust me, I'm a Dolphin fan. It's a lucky-ass play. You don't get that. You don't get a guy's head this way and the throw like that. You just don't. And listen, I'll take it and set up the game-winning field goal. That's fine, man. What saved Miami last year was the number 6 ranked defense. The number 2 scoring defense, the number 1 turnover ratio defense, the number 1 interception defense, the number 1 fumbles calls defense, and the number 1 fumble recovers defense. Oh, not to mention, this is a great stat, a field goal kicker who didn't miss a kick on the road last year. Woo! Man, drop the mic! Cooper White, it's on you, baby.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, the thing about all those stats that you just listed, besides being awesome and amazing to watch, by the way, I do watch a lot of Dolphins games. They are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
We're gonna be so fun. Jalen Waddle, guys.
It's gonna be a good year for sure. It's gonna be a good year. But all those stats are the most volatile you could possibly name. Fumbles forced, fumbles recovered, turnovers, volatile. I don't know if that's going to be sustainable for this year. You're going to have to step it up to maintain what you had and still had a non-playoff season. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to raise your level of play unless you the dice to land your way again, which is possible, but you shouldn't rely on that, not in the NFL. You're going to have to play above what they played last year to be able to get as far as they did, I think. And, maybe we got Tua fully healthy, maybe more healthy than he was last year, full off season under his belt. Like, maybe, I could see that happening, but he's going to have to elevate that team because that defense, I don't think is going to, push them into the playoffs and push them into success. Tua's going to have to elevate that team if they want to go far.
Give me a record for the Dolphins. Cool. And then I'm going to go to you, Luis. Luis, you cool? You good on time, bro?
Yeah, I'm good for a few.
Okay. Go. Give me a record, cool?
I got a few minutes, too. I just got a few left.
Come on with it, baby. We on air.
10-7 or 9-6.
What the?
9-6.
Well, no, the 17 games, so you're missing the game.
9-8. My bad. The 17 games. I went the other
9-8.
Yeah.
You want to put lunch on that?
All right.
I don't bet money. I bet lunch, and my lunches are very simple. Luis will tell you, I like sandwiches and ginger ale.
I'll DoorDash you whatever you want.
Yeah, okay, that's what's up. See, I like that right there. Other people,
simple.
well, you're in the Bay, dude. You need to come down to L.A. and fuck with me, man, and we can go out. We can burn one of them things. We can go holler at Mary Jane while we're down here, and we can go sit out and talk sports and have lunch somewhere.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends down there.
There we go. Okay. So lunch on that?
Yeah, lunch on that.
Luis, give me. I'm going to give you my record in a minute. Luis, Dolphins.
I look at 11-6.
Okay. That's close to me. I got 12-5.
12-5?
Yep.
Dang.
Well, let me tell you why. Listen.
But the Jets can't win 5 games?
No, they got too many injuries. They just lost a huge free agent defensive piece, and they just lost a huge offensive lineman piece Saturday night in their preseason games. The season-ending injuries. It's starting. Yeah. Listen, it's starting already for them. Zach Wilson reminds me of Johnny Manziel, and just to preface that, I pulled for Johnny Manziel. I wanted Johnny. Yes, I did. I wanted Johnny to make it. Because I liked all that shit. Because he would go out and he would, like I was saying about Sha'Carri Richardson. He did prove it into college. He did the money shit in college, and he went in. People forget he went into Alabama, he went into Tuscaloosa, and hung 40 plus on Nick Saban's defense, and beat that football team. Yeah. Now the following year, a lot of those defensive players were juniors and seniors. Now they wanted that revenge, and he kept them in that game in College Station as long as he could. And then Alabama the defense took over. And he was running for his life. From the 10-minute mark in the third quarter, he ran for his life the rest of the game. Yeah. And in the size, he's undersized. But I thought he had a legitimate shot in the NFL. But there's something about privileged quarterbacks. And I mean, you come up economically okay. And
BYU quarterback.
Yeah, if you're not, except for Steve Young. If you're not 6'5.5" like Peyton, or if you don't have the moxie and tough, let me tell you something, man. I'm old enough, and so is Luis. We're old enough to remember, and I'm not knocking, I'm not trying to make you seem like a young guy, but you are younger than us. Dude, I remember Steve Young, vividly. Not highlights, not games as a kid. As a teenager, watching him thinking, that's a tough son bitch right there, man. That dude was tough. He was tough, and he was undersized. And he did, and he can move and run, and dude, there's games I've seen his helmet get knocked off, and he still would go, and he would finish the runoff by lowering his head. You would never see 85% of the quarterbacks on high school, college, or NFL do that shit today.
Young, I remember watching Steve Young play for the LA Express in the USFL in the Coliseum.
Wow.
This is who, dog.
I was a fan when I was too young.
Cool. I'm telling you, this is who I bring to the show, dog. This is the type of talent I bring.
I was not ready for this.
This guy, I'm telling you, listen, Luis Estrada is one of the sharpest. We talk wrestling too, man. We're wrestling nerds. We talk wrestling too, but this is one of the sharpest fucking sports guys I like. When you get that type of insight, that's how far back we go with Steve Young as far as BYU is concerned. But I just thought that he was a tough sumbitch, man. But Johnny, I pulled for him because of all the flack he did get. But then I watched Zach, and I'm like, I'm not, fool me once, shame on me. Shame on you, excuse me. Fool me twice. Shame. Or if I'm George Bush, do you guys remember?
Not gonna fool me again?
Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Hey, you ain't gonna fool me again. What a fucking idiot. Oh my God. Chris Rock was right. As a C student, when you're black, you can't even work at McDonald's. But as a C student, if you're white, you could be president of the United States of America.
That's cocaine the whole time, probably.
Oh God, that's one of the best jokes. That's one of his best fucking jokes. But with Zach, I don't trust that franchise. I don't trust him as a quarterback. I do my research. If you go put down the 2019 tape of BYU, the tape is bad. Yeah. He's off. He's short. He overthrows. Interceptions. Rush. Just a guy looks like Johnny Manziel once the league caught up to him.
You have the NFL though.
You put on the 2020 tape where they play nobody. It looks great, and then they get to the Coastal Carolina game where the three of us who watch football can't name two players off that defense right now without looking that shit up. And I'll admit it, no, I can't. I'm sorry. That's the first Coastal Carolina game I've watched in my life. And I've watched 15,000 college football games. It's the first time I watched Coastal Carolina. He couldn't move the football. He couldn't make throws. And that was against a bunch of guys who aren't going to play on Sundays. And you want me to believe that he's going to face Brian Flores twice, Bill Belichick twice, and Coach Dermott in Buffalo twice. You think that guy's going to be successful?
Okay, so if you think that the Dolphins are going to go 12-5, you have to think that the Jets are going to go. So that's consistent at least. That's consistent.
Yeah. The Jets they're 4 or 5 win teams.
Yeah.
Therefore, they're trying to draft for Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon next year.
Okay.
They're trying to figure out how to get Kayvon, who I also called for Oaks Christian High School out here. He went to Dorsey in the hood, and his mom wanted to get him out of the bad neighborhood, put him in a better school, in a better situation, which is a smart thing to do. Yeah. Send his ass up to Thousand Oaks, which is about 20 minutes from me, where Will Smith's son played, Wayne Gretzky's son played, Casey Clausen played, and Joe Montana's kid played. They all played high school football at this one school. That's where Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon went to rush in. It's going to be tank for Kayvon because he's Myles Garrett again. He's a game changer. He's a game changer. So, but I that's why I don't believe in Zach.
I know that's a fair take. How could it not be a fair take?
Yeah, Trey's my guy. I think with Chicago and Luis, I'll let you just answer this as quick as you can. I think Chicago would be smart to start Dalton because I think that line and I got swayed a little bit by my man from the Fly Route podcast. I think that line, I don't know if I would put Fields out behind that line. Now, the hit Saturday's got nothing to do with it. To me, that looked like an all-out blitz, and someone's coming free. He held on to the ball. Get rid of the ball, dude.
You got it.
When you drop back, when you plant, he's here. So you're terrific, dude. You've got to see that backer coming.
Yeah.
And he ate that thing. And it's like, bro, throw the ball away.
No, yeah.
That's kind of so.
Do something.
But the line hasn't looked great in preseason. There are a lot of, professionals and experts that don't like the line. I think Luis, it would be smart to put Dalton out there now, but he's the only rookie that I think is the starter, but probably shouldn't start just because of that. But I think Trey Lance is the starter. I think we already know Trevor Lawrence is the starter, Zach's the starter, and I think Cam Newton's the starter in New England. They need to hold on Mac Jones. But Trey Lance for you and Justin Fields. Do you think they should start? I know you love Justin Fields, but do you think it's smart to start Andy Dalton? And what do you think about Trey Lance being the starter?
I absolutely think it's smart to start Andy Dalton for the Bears initially, for no other reason than week one. Who do you have week 1? Aaron Donald and the Los Angeles Rams.
Yes.
You don't want to introduce Justin Fields to that as your first game.
Not like that.
No.
Period.
No. Not with maybe in year 3. Maybe in year 3 when they built it, Aaron, and then by then Aaron Donald might be like at this part of the peak, just going. But pure rookie. The Rams defense wants back this year, guys. Like Luis, you and I did shows leading up. We did a show every week in the playoffs last year. I was on the Rams hard, man. I thought the Rams. I'm gonna tell you guys, if that's a healthy team, I don't know if Tom Brady's wearing number 7. I'm gonna just say that.
No,
Tom Brady's weakness is what in the Super.
If they were healthy, that game's a toss-up. The Rams had already gone into Tampa and beat them earlier in the year. So it wasn't as if it was impossible to think about. But Aaron Donald wasn't healthy, and that's all that. When you have Aaron Donald on the other side of the line, he commands 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
If you're the Chicago Bears, you don't want to introduce Justin Fields to the NFL with that defense. And don't forget, on the other side, you got Jalen Ramsey on the outside covering your best receivers. So you don't want to introduce him to that because that's going to be a long day for a rookie. But I do think, like I said, week 6, week 7, week 8, somewhere around there, Justin Fields got to be the starter in Chicago. If you are the San Francisco 49ers, I think you got to start Trey Lance right away.
Coop, I'm not stupid.
You've got a good enough team around him that he can sustain it and get on the same page with guys like George Kittle and all the running backs they have.
Hey, Coop, I'm not. That's great assessment, Luis.
Yeah. One last thing I want to say, VJ, before I forget. Happy birthday to the man. Number 8, number 24. His 43rd birthday would have been today. The late, great Kobe Bryant. Bean, we miss you. Happy birthday.
And as I tell people all the time, he ain't got to be your GOAT. And I respect Michael Jordan, but he's my GOAT. You can have Mike. Mm-hmm. You can have LeBron. You can have Magic. You can have Bird. Like you can have your guy. I just know when I strap up number 8 and 24 and I send them out, I'm going to end up with 5 championships. I'm going to end up with the killer of killers in the history of basketball. I'm going to end up with a guy who won his MVP, who got his finals MVP, who was a young, cocky, confident, arrogant kid, but grew and matured and jailed. Then had to go through some hard days and hard times because he wanted his own squad. And he made it be known. Had to fight through that shit. Playing with fucking Kwame Brown and a dude named Smush Parker. And I say this every time I say his name. I get pissed at his parents. Why the fuck are you naming your kid Smush? That's ridiculous. That's crazy, man. I would never name my kid. Now, if it means something tribal or something from your land, my bad. No disrespect. But if you from Harlem, are you from Chicago? Are you from Sheboygan? And you name him Smush? I should smack the shit out of you. That's a fucked up name. He's playing with guys like Chris Mims and Karan Butler. And then Kobe got a Gasol, got some other pieces. People always want to try to give Gasol some credit. I got the numbers on that. Gasol's a career 18-7 guy. Stop the bullshit, okay, guys? He was a forgotten man in Memphis. People used to call him soft. Oh, Gasol, man, he's soft. Well, Memphis, he's soft, man. But got the Kobe when Kobe was walking off the parquet floor in Boston after Game 6 in 07, and he talks about the green and white confetti falling on him. After he stayed out there, Sha'Carri watched some YouTube and learned sportsmanship and shaked everybody's hand. After getting his ass handed to him by 36, a finals record closeout game in the history of the finals, stayed out there. And at the press conference, didn't say, we need this guy, we need that guy. He said, we got to get tougher. We, not my guys, not the team, we got to get tougher. And he was talking about Gasol, because Gasol let a dude named Kendrick Perkinson, who's horrible on TV. Y'all want to see my Kendrick Perkinson impression? I'm telling y'all, man, right now, LeBron James, he the best player in basketball right now. I don't know what y'all talking, man, carry on. That guy is horrible on TV. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on that impression. But anyway, Kobe came back, won his championship. Happy birthday to the Bean. But, Coop, I'm not stupid. I got to cut joke because I'm a stand-up comedian 20 years. I know you probably got to go soon because your eyes keep going to the left and I keep hearing the door open and closing. And I know you cooked dinner and had to cut the vegetables for your dinner shit. And then your girl's like, Are you done yet? Are you done yet? So I ain't stupid. I see your eyes. I'm like, she keep opening the door. You told you like, just 5 more seconds, honey. Listen, I'm a comedian. I clown, homie. But I saw that. I laughed my ass off. I said, his girl like, motherfucker, if you don't come eat this fucking green bean casserole that I made tonight, that I slaved over. No, I'm just messing with you, man. But
she just wants to get high and watch King of the Hill.
I feel King of the Hill. You guys, so you're animated comedy?
Yeah.
Simpsons?
Oh hell yeah.
Family Guy?
Less so, but yes.
You know what, bro? I never watched King of the Hill. Family Guy's my shit.
King of the Hill, go back and revisit.
Really? I've never watched it.
I didn't like it as a kid. Love it now.
Really?
It's maybe my favorite of the three now. Of those three, maybe my favorite. And that's
Luis, let's go off the record here, man. Simpsons, Family Guy, King of the Hill. You watch a lot of shit, bro. You and your wife sit around and watch a lot of shit.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of like Cooper. I never got into King of the Hill, but I'm gonna have to go back and revisit it just so I listen to him talk about that. I've always been a Simpsons guy, growing up with the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Love the Simpsons. Bart's always been my guy. And you know what? There isn't a more hard luck, just more inventive and yet can completely fail on his face. You still love him, guy, than Homer J. Simpson.
Thank
He
you,
is my guy.
Thank
right
you.
there with him.
Listen, I've got my 20-month-year-old going, don't. I'm dead serious. I promise you. I'm dead. I have my 20-month-year-old going, don't. Whenever I put The Simpsons on TV, we have Disney Plus. My wife works at Disney, so we have it for free. So it's got all 32 seasons on it. So late at night when I just want to binge something when I'm doing schoolwork or he's in the living room, and I know something's going to keep his attention, I'll just pick. All right. We ain't watched season 15 in a while here. See, soon as he turns. And he goes up to the TV, and he does the sound in his mouth. He goes, he tries to get it out. I'm like, and when the car comes in the drive, when he gets out and the bike goes on, he goes, he's on time almost every time my son goes, dough. I'm like, yes, he does. My son does the dough. Okay, yeah, so no problem, man. All right, so I'll ask you. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. You talked about Zach, but who's the real true rookie starter this season in your eyes?
You going to me?
Yeah. I'm on you, cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. My bad. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good, bro. You good, man.
I'm going with
I mean, Trevor's kind of easy, right, guys?
If you're going with the starter, it's Lawrence or Wilson.
Yeah,
right?
Trevor's kind of easy, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just not a fan of that offense down in Jacksonville at all. I think that's an offense that didn't adjust when it needed to last year. Like, that's like that college thing. You're right. We're like, no, this is my offense because we only play the same team once every 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You can't do that in the NFL. And I have yet to see them adjust. Lawrence has been the golden boy forever, so it's hard to even know what's real, what's fake anymore because 3 years ago we crowned him the champion, and nothing has changed, and no one has, so it's hard to say. I don't know if I believe in that.
Great point. No, great point. Great point.
If I had to take one, I would take Lance. I would agree with you on that. If I had to take one, I think Wilson's going to have the better season, and I'm liking the Jets because I'm a weirdo. But if I had to take one right now, after seeing what I've seen, after seeing that laser he threw in between 3 defenders the other day, I'm right off the back foot in time, and he's got a little bit to learn, but I'm taking Lance.
Listen, and you know what? I think that's cool, man. See, that's what I love about sports and sports talk. It's cool to have some weird shit about. Just cool to take a weird, like this year, dude. Honestly, I think I'm a really man fan quietly for the Chargers. I am because I like Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen's from my same area code. Like I saw Keenan Allen in high school. Like he's from my same. So I'm really pulling for them. And I do hate the way they fired Anthony Lynn. I thought Anthony Lynn should have got a shot with a healthy franchise and a rookie that's more seasoned. And I know he's in Detroit. I feel for Detroit. Another rookie I want to throw out there. I don't know if you guys have been watching, guys. Panay Sewell's getting beat like a dude. Panay Sewell's getting beat like a redheaded stepchild.
Yep. Rookie tackle.
Panay Sewell, and I drank the Kool-Aid too. I didn't want Miami taking him. I never, in any of my pre-draft stuff, I didn't want my 2 choices were Chase or Smith. And I'm not going to act like I was sold in on Waddle because I don't like his route running from college. And in college, when you're that fast, you could just outrun people. In the NFL, you must run routes. And when I watched Devontae Smith the other night run routes against New England starting corners, the one guy he turned around on the button hook, wow. And Chad Johnson tweets, y'all see that shit? That's route. That's all that he too small shit. Bruh, stop. He's going to catch 85 to 90 balls running around. And then you got to think about the breakdown plays where you lose them and he sneaks behind the linebacker. The safety's head is turned trying to catch a receiver, and Jalen Hurts going to drop it over. It's going to be a 15-yard completion that turns into a 55-yard gain.
Yeah.
And if he plays, and the comparison is Marvin Harrison. You know what? You know how Marvin plays so long? Just don't take the hits, man. You're not running people over.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to in today's league, man. Another rookie I want to breed up.
Oh, and look, hold up. I do got to get out of here right now, though, dude.
Not problem. I knew it. You see that? You see that?
Like, couldn't have called it harder.
Hey guys, VJ's on SportsLikeCon. Y'all see how he got punked by his woman. If you
on TV,
listen, Cooper the white dude. If you're in my country, they would make you put on dress and dancing down idiot. That would be you.
If you saw her, you wouldn't say it.
No. Oh, shit. You know what, bro? You know what? On that right there, I take back my comment.
All right, it's been an absolute pleasure, Luis.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Thank you for having me on. Y'all have a good one. It's been a pleasure.
All right, no. Tell them where you can find you. I want my people to know where they can find you. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. I ain't got that set up at all.
No, what's your Twitter, bro? Just give them your Twitter.
It's at Brainstain. Brain_Stain with a 5. Yeah, I know. I was not ready for this.
Hey, listen. That either is a rock band from the 80s or a really bad dying porn site. We love you, bro. I'll holler at you, man. Oh, my God. Brain stain. What the fuck was that? Oh, my goodness, Louise. Brain stain. Right? That sounds like some freaky shit. All right, anyway. Listen, let's keep going with the rookies. Jamar Chase. Dude, you're hearing these stories. He can't separate in practice. He can't separate in the joint practices. And he can't separate in the preseason games. What that year off. And you watch Terrence Marshall just walk by defensive backs in preseason so far. A guy who showed up and played last year for LSU. Penei Sewell opted out, right? Doesn't look great. But Michael Parsons, he looks the part, bro. I watch Hard Knocks, and I watch the Dallas preseason games. Number 11 shows up. He pops off the film. What's going on with some of these rookies, man? As much as you've watched, because I know you're a busy guy and I know you're working a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what. The biggest thing that I'm seeing is the year off from college to pro really does make a difference. It makes a bigger difference in football than I think any other sport. If you're not sure about that, go back and talk to a guy like Maurice Claret, who took a year off to try to challenge the system, still couldn't get in, and then he struggled. Why? Because that year away from the football field, it takes a toll on you. Because now all of a sudden, you might have been playing since you were 5 or 6 years old. But when you make the jump from college to the pro, it's a different game. It's a different speed. It's a different type of hit that you're taking. And it takes your body a long time to get used to it. So if you're not used to it, even just separated by a year, that's a huge difference. And these guys that took the year off last year, I respect your decisions. There was what we went through last year was not something we ever thought we would go through, and everyone had to make the best decision for them. But I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these rookies struggling, especially the ones that opted out last year, because you're not used to it anymore. So even if you were working out and doing your off-season training, it's different. You cannot simulate practice speed. You cannot simulate the hits, and then you really cannot simulate game speed. It's different. That's why guys like Parsons are coming out, and you're like, whoa, where did this guy come from? Here's two things. And you kind of mentioned it before. You got to watch the games. You got to trust your eyes. And I'm not talking about having one good game. You've got to have multiple games. You've got to be able to show it over and over and over. Consistency. That's what sports is about, consistency. Anybody can have, if you're an elite level athlete, can have a great game. Jeremy Lin scored 55 in the game.
Shit, Jeremy Lin had a run. It wasn't just one game. Lin had a run.
Right.
They called this shit Linsanity.
Yes, exactly. He went on what was like a 10, 12 game run.
Yeah.
Where he was just all over the place. But then as soon as he got the contract, people caught up to him like, oh, okay. He had a birthday just recently. I didn't realize the guy's only 33 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would put him at, I would have guessed that. I would have put him at about 33.
I thought he was older.
Nah. When was Linsanity hard? What was that? Oh,
I was like, damn, and he's not even in the league anymore.
What was Insanity really hardcore? Like 2000. This is 21. I've been back in LA for 7, so that's 14. So what was that? Like 11, 12, 13, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I know Kobe was still in the league. I know that he was still relatively healthy. So yeah, it would have been around that 11, 12, 13 era.
Okay.
But it seems like it was forever ago, and to realize the guy's only 33 years old. I mean, that kind of blew me away. But it's the same thing in the NFL. It's the same thing in every sport. It's consistency. If you don't have consistency, you're not going to go very far. And that's what I think a lot of the rookies are finding out. You hear it all the time. The jump from the NFL or from college to the NFL is huge. You know, like I had somebody explain it to me like this. When you're in, let's take it down to Pop Warner right before high school, right? You might have one kid that's really, really good and can carry an entire football team.
Of course.
Okay, that kid. Okay, now you get to high school, and by the time you get to varsity, everybody's as good as you were then. So then you need like 2, 3 guys that are really, really good, and then they can carry a team. But then you get to college, and everybody on the college team was just as good as those 3 guys there. Then you get those 1 or 2 guys at the college level that can carry a team. By the time you get to the NFL, almost everybody in the NFL was that one kid that carried a team. So now all of a sudden you're on an even playing field, theoretically. And it's a whole different ballgame, and these guys are starting to find that out.
No, I'm with you on that, man. I looked at the names of the struggling rookies, and it just hit me. It was like, hold on, Penei Sewell opted out. Chase opted out. Those guys did not play last year. Mika can just run, and everything you see to him is sideline to sideline. He just like I said, he pops off the screen. He looks the part. Javon Howard, the second-year guy, safety, and DB out of Oregon that the Dolphins took is showing out. Waddle, even coming off the ankle injury, he didn't get much pub and much burn and bump the first playoff game. But this past playoff game against Atlanta at home, the first 2 throws were to Jalen Waddle, and then they ran a reverse to him for 9 yards. It's just like these little plays. The first play was like an 8-yard gain. Then he had like an 11-yard gain. Then he ran a reverse. They snapped it to Tua. He was already coming in motion. Tua just flipped it right to him in front of him. Turned the corner, got a block, put his shoulder down, boom, 9-yard gain. Plays like that are going to turn into 70-yard gains, 60-yard gains. But we saw this last year. Like, we just saw this last year. So it makes sense that that's what it's probably going to be. With Penei Sewell, I'm watching you know me, man. I'm watching a shitload of preseason games. And I watch both games of the Lions every snap. And he's getting kind of pushed around. And it's like, yeah, that year off, you have the size and all. And it's not to say he can't overcome it. And it's not to say he can change the tide in the future. But just that year off, and I wrote some of these rookie names down. Terrence Marshall, who showed up and played last year for LSU, is just walking by defensive backs. Like, it's starting to look like, if you think about him, and then you have Jefferson in Minnesota. Those are the two recent, and that's behind Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. Like, though there's other LSU receivers, it's starting to look like, and you're going to lose one, because Jamar Chase just doesn't seem to be that, honestly, he doesn't seem to be that guy. Ruggs might not be that guy, but Alabama, but you do have Ridley. You do have Julio. You possibly can have Jalen Waddle. There's one that's going to, and then you got Devontae Smith, who's probably going to be really good. So out of those 5, there's one that's going to slip out. You know, a lot of people wanted Chase and wanted to move up to grab him, man, and he just might not be the guy. Another preseason story. I'm very worried about Dak's shoulder. I'm not taking this as lightly as fans are trying to make it, especially Cowboy fans. Oh, but he's throwing in practice 35 times, and he's whipping that thing, and it's like, dog, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's for fluff. I watched Hard Knocks and caught up on it, and when I saw that, remember, they released he said they had the second surgery on the ankle, and no one even knew it. Dallas was very good about Jerry Jones must have threatened to kill some people. He must have threatened some bodies floating up in the Corpus Christi, off of Corpus Christi, if somebody said anything and brought up the fact that they had a second surgery because the first one the injury was a lot worse than it was. But what are your thoughts on just Dallas as a whole? And Dak's the key there. I'm worried about this dude. Like, you just don't come back, and I'm tired of and I do this. I'm admitting this. I normally try to say, oh, well, medicine's different. Rehab's different. Training's different. When somebody goes, man, you know it takes a year to come back from that. You know it takes about a year and a half to come back from that. I'm normally the guy's like, yeah, but training's different. You know, all that stuff's different nowadays. But maybe I need to start smartening up because I keep getting proved wrong on this. And maybe, no, Dak's not going to come out this year and do what everybody thinks he's going to do, which is going to be bad because they gave him the $40 million, but you kind of had to. You would have saved yourself $23 million if you'd have gave him the deal 2 years prior that he asked you for. So Jimmy kind of fucked him. I mean, Jerry fucked his himself right there. But I'm worried about the shoulder. I'm worried about the foot. He's not playing any preseason. You just don't roll out of bed and go play football, man. Just your thoughts on Dak in Dallas.
Well, Dallas is only going to go as far as Dak takes them. Period. It's plain and simple. At least last year you had Andy Dalton in the back, and you're thinking, yeah, I know it's Andy Dalton, but he's still a serviceable quarterback. That being said, you're right. Dak doesn't look right. There's something not right there. And people say, yeah, the shoulder takes a year to year and a half. You're right, it does. So, yeah, it might be surgically repaired. He might be technically healthy. But now he's got to build his shoulder strength back up, his arm strength back up. And it takes a long time. Think about it. You know, these guys, we kind of touched on it a few minutes ago. These guys have been playing since they were 5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got wear and tear from all those years, all those hits. And then all of a sudden you got to have a surgery on top of it. So now you got to build your stamina back up. You got to build your arm strength back up. And then you got to get into game shape. And then you got to get your arm and shoulder into game shape and get it up to game speed. And that takes time. There's a reason that when, you know, a guy gets hurt and like that, you know, with his shoulder, where you're hearing, yeah, it takes a good year solid to really get back from that, or a year and a half. There's a reason for that. It's more than just the physical aspect of, is the shoulder healthy? Is the shoulder okay? But now you got to build all this stuff back up again because you basically, you know, you tore it. It was gone. So now you got to repair it and put it all together and kind of get everything up. So yeah, no, I'm definitely worried for Dallas because they're only going to go as far as Dak goes. And if Dak can't finish the season or isn't the Dak that, you know, you had at the beginning of last year or you saw 2 years ago, it's going to be a long year for Dallas.
And you know what? They have so much talent on offense. Oh my God. If I'm playing Madden for money, I don't care what you try to say about me. You ain't no Dallas fan, no, but there's $100 on the Xbox right now, and I'm playing for money. Therefore, I get the best team I know how to work with. And no, they ain't got no defense, but we're about to have a 44-41 fucking game. That's for damn sure for this $100. That's what's about to happen. You ain't about to blow me out. I'm putting points up because I can hand it to Zeke, and I don't believe in Zeke. I've said it on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard. I have video clips on my YouTube and my IG and my Twitter where when he first went to Cabo, I would have traded him right then. You could have got 2 firsts. Maybe you fix some of these defensive positions and spots that you have holes in right now from other. Maybe you draft Buda Baker, who's a 2-time all-defensive safety in Arizona right now. And we'll get to them in a second because I'm worried about their offense severely, but their defense, man. But you could have had a Buda Baker, and you wouldn't have the safety issue. You still would have ended up with Michael Parsons because Dak still got hurt, so you still ended up with the pick you got. But some of these other holes might be filled right now. So all that talent on offense that they have, man, they're going to average. If Dak's healthy, 37, 38 a game, right? It's got to be up there.
Oh, I would put in the 30s for sure. With a healthy Dak, absolutely you're in the 30s.
35 or 30. It's got to be there with that talent. But as I told the Dallas Cowboy fan, my man Zeke Spoon at Twitter, I've seen better Dallas teams finish 8-8. This is not the best Dallas team I've seen. They've had better teams with Romo at quarterback, and they've had teams with DeMarcus Ware, who is the best DN in football. Like, they've had better teams, guys. Marion Barber, running back. I forget, the other back name is slipping me, that led the league in rushing one year.
They had
DeMarco Murray out of Oklahoma. They've had players, guys. I've seen better Dallas teams finish 8-8. This team scares me. The shoulder scares me. The defense scares me. And Vegas has them at over and under 9.5, 10 games. I think that's a very fair bet for them. I put $1,000 on the Giants to win the division only because the bet was a plus 375. So if I win almost $5,000. And I thought 1,000 was worth $5,000. Because I think the Giants' defense is better. I think Saquon Barkley back is better. I think Ladarius Toney out of Florida at the slot with all that speed. You bring in Galladay, who's another speed big guy, go up and get the ball. You still have Shepard. You have Elvin Ingram. I don't hate Daniel Jones as much as everybody else do. But if that all falls, that defense and that head coach and that defensive coordinator, they're going to keep you in games. Washington has no quarterback. The Eagles are semi-rebuilding, and you can't trust Dallas. I thought the Giants bet was a great pick and a great bet. But back to the Cowboys, Vegas doesn't even buy them.
No, absolutely not. And I agree with you on the Giants, by the way. I think if there's one thing that you hear people talk about in the NFL is that defense never quits. Defense is all heart. And to me, the team that has the best defense and the least amount of question marks in the NFC East is the New York Giants, period.
Yeah.
Like you said, Washington, they don't have a quarterback. They just don't. I'm sorry.
Their quarterback is Ryan fucking Fitzpatrick. That's why.
Exactly. They have not addressed it, and they think they're just going to patch it because their defense is really good. Yes, their defense is very good. But Ryan Fitzpatrick's not going to take you to the playoffs. If Dallas is no, let me rephrase that. If Dak Prescott is healthy, Dallas will be there. But I don't, that remains to be seen. And then you got the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts, but they're rebuilding completely. I don't trust anything that they have right now. They're a few years away still. So I think your Giants bet is a good bet.
Arizona worries me. I love the defense. It's legit. Collins, the rookie, at Tulsa for the Buckets Award, best linebacker in football last year. Buda Baker, out the door goes Patrick Peterson. Fitzgerald says the other day, Larry Fitz, Mr. AKA Hands, says the other day, I don't know if I want to play right now. I don't. That's fine. You bring in AJ. You got D Hops. You got Kyler. You got Cliff Kingsbury. You rebuilt this offense a lot. I love the defense. The defense will keep them in games. I think they'll be able to hang with Seattle. They beat them once last year. They'll be able to hang with the Rams. They'll be able to hang with the Niners. But that offense, I know it's just preseason, but like I said, if preseason didn't matter, the coaches would play all the guys who aren't going to make the team. It matters. And I know week 1 is good for about a minute. And I know the Hall of Fame game is good for about 2 minutes. And I know training camp is fun for about a day. But in the week 2, when the starters and even some of the backups play, because trust me, people, you watched a bunch of backups this year, and you won't remember them, but they will play significant time because there's injuries, or there's players that don't perform, or there's coaches that are fearing for their job and thinking they need to make a change in certain places. A lot of these backups will play this season. It's 17 games. There are guys they're going to be load management. There are guys that are going to take a Sunday off. You're going to see a lot of these backups play. And against a lot of these backups and even starters, Arizona cannot run the football. Against these backups and these starters, Arizona cannot throw the football. Kyler Murray is running and scrambling for his life in the preseason. I am really worried. This is a team that I'm going to stamp as a team that I think people are looking at to take that next step, that I think takes a big regression this year, because the offense worries me. They don't have a solid back to run the football. Kyler Murray is a small guy. Lamar L. Jax runs, I get it, but he's bigger. He hit the weights. He showed up after his rookie year with a linebacker neck and with defensive end traps. Like, okay, you can tell this guy's been in the weight room because he knows he's got to run the ball a lot. Kyler is still a shortstop that's got a little stockiness to him. He's not going to grow. He's not going to get taller, but I'm worried about this offense. He's running around all through preseason. The defense is stacked. I thought they would contend until I watched some of these preseason snaps, and I'm like, oh my God, that offense is in trouble because they don't run the football, and for some reason, the offensive line isn't playing well, man. And that's your division because you're a Rams fan, so you probably want to go 0-17, which is cool. But am I on to something here with Arizona, or are you seeing kind of the same stuff I'm seeing?
I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing. Look, their problem is the offensive line. They just have not addressed it, and they don't have a back that you can trust. Here's the problem with the NFC West. If you look up and down every team, because of the Cam Akers injury, I don't believe there's any team in that division that has a trustworthy, consistent running back.
Very good. So very good point. Very good point. They don't.
No, none of them do. So you're going to have to rely on your quarterbacks and your offensive lines, because you're going to need time. Because until a running back emerges for one of these teams to be the guy that can be, they don't have to be a 100-yard rusher. They have to be a 100-yard rushing threat. There's a difference. You just have to be afraid that they're going to be able to do something good. If you do that, that's going to open up your passing game. And you've got Arizona, you've got Murray, not Murray. Yeah, you've got Kyler Murray, A.J. Green, and you've got DeAndre Hopkins, who I love. I thought to me, he's one of the best receivers in football. When you look at the Rams, you're talking about Woods, Jackson, and Kupp. When you look at talking about Seattle, you're talking about Lockett, and you're talking about Metcalf.
True, Metcalf's a true trick pony.
Really good receivers. Nobody that's really great, but you have a quarterback question there. You're going to end up starting a rookie quarterback. So how far is that going to take you? So it's really going to come down to the quarterback play and these receiving plays. Who is going to be the guy for any of these teams, running back wise, that steps up? That's going to be the team, I think, that wins this division. I thought Arizona made a mistake in letting Drake go because I thought he was their best running back last year. I really did. I don't like the fact that you're seeing a lot of tandem running backs when you have a good one that can take you somewhere. Drake may not have been the best running back out there, but he was the threat, and that's what you need, a guy that can move the pylon. We've talked about this time and time again. Come playoff time, you need a back that's going to move the sticks in short yardage. Drake would have done that. There's nobody in this division that can do that, and that's scary.
You're not watching right now on video. You can't see, but I got this. I'm such a goofball. I got this mouthpiece that's got the cover over your lips, like the old school, like Eric Dickerson. Oh, yeah. But it's the one that's got, like, the teeth on it that the kids wear. I saw this shit at Walmart. I'm like, yo, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to wear it on my show. So it's in right now. Oh, it's upside down. Shit. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Like if you see me right now.
You got
I got a goddamn mouthpiece right here, man. So, talk to me. Here's another team. I wasn't sold, but when I'm watching them and I'm just hearing about the training camp and the fact that their 57-year-old quarterback said, dude, I'm not sitting down in preseason, and played like 3 damn series in the first preseason game. Like, I love that, man. Tom Brady and the Bucks. Listen, a lot of people think they were just hitting their stride last year, and I know the defense played well. He threw 3 picks in the conference championship game, but he also made the throws at the end of the first half to Godwin to really open up that game and really put that game away. Conference championship game up there, Lambeau Field on the road, and in the Super Bowl, the defense played well and got him the football, but hey, He did his job. He threw the passes and stuck the ball. He threw 2 touchdown passes to Gronk. Him and Gronk are on the behind-the-scenes camera, mic'd up. 2 tutties, baby. Save them for the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, this team looks primed to repeat, man. Their defense is stacked. Their best defensive players young. Antoine Winfield Jr. is coming in his 2nd year. His dad was a perennial All-Pro and Pro Bowl in this league. It's in his DNA. It's almost like Pat Surtain. Oh, by the way, pick 6 in preseason. Oh, his dad, multi-time All-Pro, Pro Bowl player for the Miami Dolphins. Like, it's in these guys' DNA. Are the Bucks? Man, listen. I know it's cliche to just say, dude, really, they look like they're primed to repeat. And if the narrative is true that they were just hitting their stride, I mean, Carolina, not good. Atlanta, no defense. And the Saints don't have a quarterback. Alvin Kamara wants out. Michael Thomas wants out. Like, that division, I'm looking at the Bucks. I'm like, bro, this is 13-4. This is 14-3. This is going to be a full off season where Brady can throw to his guys. A full off season with the training camp. A full off season with preseason games. They're not going to have those early season blunt. You remember the Bears game in like week 7 where Tom just kind of loses what down in it. That doesn't happen, but it happens when you have not had the time. They've got the time, man, and I know it's low-hanging fruit, but I don't think there's a lot of people. People are looking at the Packers and Dallas, if Dallas is going to be healthy, and the Chiefs. I'm looking at the Bucks like, yo, y'all better go back and check this team. They can run the football, young backs, the receiver core is stupid crazy, tight ends, they got 3, and at the end of the day, you have number 12 saying, ready, set, hike. And talk to me about the Bucks, man.
Man, you know, it's funny, DJ. We talked about the Bucks at the beginning of last year. We did a show right when the pandemic started in March. Right after Tom Brady signed there, we said, at least I said, if they can play defense, they're going to be really good. Because on paper, yeah, they had all the guys. Gronk had just gotten traded there. They didn't have Antonio Brown there yet. But you were like, okay, yeah, on paper, offensively, they're going to be really good. Can they mesh? Can they gel? Will they be able to stop anybody? That was my biggest concern with them. They sure as hell can stop people. They play really good defense. People don't really talk about that. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And then you've got leadership. You've got Tom Brady back there who's been to 10 Super Bowls in the last decade or in the last 20 years. He's won 7 of them.
Quick sidebar.
You can sit there and you can look at it and be like, if he tells you, hey, I got this.
Luis, quick sidebar. Pick something that you don't think will be broken in the next 40 to 50 years. I think it's the 10 Super Bowl. I know it may be kind of easy, but dude, 10 Super Bowl, either that or 6-0 in the finals. Over the next 40 to 50 years, that won't be broken.
That won't be broken.
Which one? The 10 Super Bowls in 20 years?
Those are both good, but I'm going to throw out a different number at you. 56.
Consecutive hit game?
Yep, that's not being broken.
Okay. And look, see, I got all my props there. I got a baseball bat too, y'all. You can't see me because you're not watching, but oh, that was a good hit. I got my baseball bat. I had my little toy baton when I was talking track, and I've been tossing up my football to myself. But being that you talked about that stick, see, I don't want people to think I just be front. So yeah, it's a baseball bat right here too, baby. All right, but okay, so yeah, I like. All right, yeah, that thing's gonna stand. What is that? That's that's not is that DiMaggio?
I think it's Maris, isn't it?
Maris is the home. No, Maris had the home run.
No, you're right. It is DiMaggio.
It's DiMaggio. DiMaggio's got the 56. DiMaggio's got the 56 game hit, man.
Yep. Yeah, Maris had the single season home run record.
You know what? I'm going to challenge that. I think that will be broken because the baseball keeps changing. The ball, the bat, the mound. There's just going to be a year they're going to change the wrong shit, and it's going to help somebody break the 56 game hitting streak. It's going to help somebody break that with the game.
I'm going to tell you something, VJ. They already have done it. Just teams are too stupid to do something about it. It's called the shift. The shift is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. And the problem is nobody wants to freaking bunt the ball.
Yeah.
You bunt the ball on a shift the other way, you're getting hits left and right. And then it forces the shift to change where your alleys are now open again. But people don't want to do it. If they would have bunt, if they were to actually take that bat and just bunt the ball down the other line, you'd see somebody break it. But there's too much, swagger, whatever, ego. I want the home run. Nah, bunt that thing.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll change because that's killing baseball. But I still think I like the 6-0. Because if you think about it like this, Giannis, to the bit of to do the Kupo, I can't say his name, guys, so I'm not trying to make fun of him. I fuck it up on purpose because I can't say it. Which is weird because I always been able to say DJ Uiagalelei, and I watch the professionals on TV. I watched them fuck it up all through the Notre Dame game. All through the Notre Dame game, I'm like, yo, I really do like you, Mike Tirico, but that's not how you pronounce his last name. And I guess because I called his games, I got so much practice at that at Bosco out in Bellflower. But if I had to look at 6-0, and Giannis is the only current NBA champion superstar that doesn't have a finals loss. So we know LeBron's not going to get it. We know Durant's not going to get it. We know Curry's not going to get it. Giannis is only 1-0, so he's got 5 to go, and he can't lose one. Everybody else, Kyrie, Durant, all the other major stars have a finals loss already. So it's not anybody from this generation. So it's going to have to be a Cade Cunningham or Green. Maybe the Ball brothers do it one day, and we never hear the end of LeVar. Anyway, shout out to LeVar. Another quick sidebar. Like him or not, he won. 3 sons in the NBA, all multimillionaires, creating generational wealth for their kids and grandkids. As a minority dad, as a black dad, a minority dad who's not supposed to be able to do those types of things, hats off. I'm sorry. Like him or not. And no, I don't like the way he say shit, but I'm not the one that keeps bringing him on TV. I'm not the one that kept putting him on the radio. I'm not the one that kept putting a microphone in his face. And if Cam gets to an age, and I think I could get him to that level, it ain't for me. I want to set my son up. Yeah, my son would have bust such and such ass back in the day. Yeah, my son is better than such and such. Even if he's not better than Curry, we talked. We looked at it. And at the end of the day, he said, Rookie of the Year. You watch what I tell my boy, who, Melo? Melo gonna win Rookie of the Year. You watch what I tell you. Who won Rookie of the Year? Melo.
Of course. Here's the thing with that real quick.
You're a dad. Go ahead. Speak on it, bro.
Melo were all coming up. Everybody said LaMelo was going to be the best of the 3.
True.
So far, he's shown that. I'm not going to give him all 3 in the NBA for this reason. Jello has yet to play in the NBA.
Okay.
Summer League doesn't count.
Okay.
So he's got 2. We'll see if Jello makes it to the NBA.
Okay. I got Jello in. Listen, I'm all from nepotism. If I could create something and hold certain people down, you good money. And whether this is a wink agreement for Melo or Jordan even showing that he can bury a hatch or he could actually let something go, because of course LeVar said he would have beat him in 1-on-1, and we know how petty Mike is. But maybe this is a turn for Mike saying, man, I don't care about that shit. I'm at the point now, I'm trying to put together and if this kid can help, and if it's going to help his brother be more focused and be happier, you got to take it. Who would know what it takes to take care of a superstar more than Michael Jordan? Who would know?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Absolutely. So I hope he makes the team. I'm pulling for him. No, he's not better than Lonzo. No, he's not better than Melo. But, I mean, serviceable 6-man off the bench. I mean, like I said, if you get all 3 of his kids into the league, that's something that I think people, like I said, whether people like it or not, he won, man. Before I wrap up here, today, as you already mentioned, the Bean 824, the Mamba, Kobe, KB8, all the nicknames, man. Give me some of your favorite Kobe Bryant. I got a few. Give me some of your favorite Kobe Bryant moments.
Oh, man, there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, the 60 on his last game is phenomenal. The 81, the 62 against Dallas in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
The 2 free throws, after he tears his Achilles. But you know what? I think my favorite moment is his rookie year in Utah where he airballed those three-pointers.
Yeah.
Because what did he do? He came back, as the story goes, and he went right to UCLA.
Yep.
And he started working out and he started putting up shots.
Yep. Putting up
I'm
threes.
I'm going to be in that position again, and I'm not going to fail.
Yep.
And that was the start of when I think Kobe started to become Kobe.
Yeah.
And that story that I've heard it repeated many, many times, that he just was there for hours just putting up shots, so that he would get better. And you hear stories about his work ethic, about how, if they had a 9 o'clock practice, that he might show up, at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and start doing his own personal workout before practice.
Yep.
And then stick around after practice to put up more shots. So it's like, when I hear stories about his work ethic, and you hear just all these different things about how, when he went to the Olympics and people like LeBron and Carmelo were watching his work ethic and seeing how he worked even for an Olympic gold medal, and just were in awe of that. I mean, those are the things to me that define Kobe Bryant. I've been a Lakers fan my entire life, and I grew up watching Magic and James Worthy and Kareem, and I'm fortunate enough to work with guys like James Worthy and Robert Horry now. But you're watching Kobe play from beginning to end of his career. I'm in awe that a guy like that existed in the NBA to the level that he did. And I saw Jordan. I saw Jordan play, but I never got to see Jordan as intently as I saw Kobe. And you saw it up close and personal.
Yeah.
And it's just, I got to cover his last season in the NBA. It was my first year working at Spectrum. And it was an absolute privilege and a pleasure to cover him up close like that, even if it was his last year. So many moments, man. So many moments.
I'm with you, man. The 80, those are low hanging fruit. 81. The reason why I love the 62 3/4 against Dallas is because it was a message to the Dallas coach, who at that point, for some reason, cut his minutes in the All-Star game that year in the fourth quarter. And that was Kobe's way of like, okay. Because the second time he went at them, I think he had 43 on a Sunday matinee game when Mark Cuban said they sent amnesty his contract, and he tweeted amnesty that. Like, you didn't poke the bear. Like, you just, his work, and here's some quotes that I got today that I always tell people, if you don't want to listen to me, or you don't want to listen to anybody on the radio about certain players because you're a fan of their rival or somebody else, you know who you should listen to? The people that they played against. The people that coached against them. Because they don't have a horse in the race. They're just going to tell you, yeah, that guy right there. Kobe Bryant said about the Tony. If you guys haven't watched the Tony Parker documentary, it's very good stuff over on HBO Max. Kobe Bryant said it. I have more championships if it weren't for him. Like, I would have more not Duncan, not Ginobili. He knew that guard, that little motherfucker from France. And he said it one time, that little motherfucker from France, he's something to deal with. He's something to deal with. You got to be on your P's and Q's. And there was only a few times, they battled for 20 years. And there was only a few times that the Lakers were just superior to the Spurs. And I think they swept in 1 year and beat them in 5 1 year. But other than that, it was 6 and 7, back and forth. And then the Spurs had their year where they beat them and ended the three-peat run and beat them in 6 and beat them by 20 at home. And finished them off at home. So, but some quotes I got here where Michael Jordan says, the only person who has put in the work and deserves the comparison to me is Kobe Bryant. And we all know Jordan never gave nobody a compliment. That just wasn't what he did. Larry Bird says, if I want to have fun, I'll play with LeBron. If I want to win, I'll play with Kobe.
Yep.
Allen Iverson says, the first time I saw you going up against Black Jesus, a.k.a. Michael Jordan, when you were 18 years old, I knew you were a killer. And he did. When Kobe was 18, and people told him, whatever you do, you've heard this story, whatever you do, don't look Michael in the eye. Kobe looked at them and said, motherfucker, he better not look me in the eye. And people took that, oh, he's so arrogant. No, he was showing you right then and there, like, no, bro, I'm ready for this right now. And Kobe has said that in post-retirement interviews when he's asked about going up against Jordan. He was like, you know what I'm saying? They saying all this and saying all that about you. I want to see what's up. Like, the players today, they run from that shit. There's too much, it's too much handshaking and pandering. And anyway, Dirk Nowitzki says, the best player I ever played against was Kobe Bryant. I've seen him do stuff that is just unbelievable. And if you really think about it, I tell people all the time, and last one I got here, Michael Jordan says, Kobe Bryant was maybe even tougher than I was. And that's because I tell people all the time, when you had to battle Shaq's ego, you had to battle Dale Harris, they didn't know what the hell he was doing, that was start Eddie Jones. And people love to throw that out. He didn't even start when he first got in. Eddie Jones was the start. Yeah, that was just a stupid ass move. Eddie Jones should have been benched or should have been moved on, which what you did with him anyway. You moved him on to the Heat. You traded him and got rid of him because you had Kobe Bryant after the air balls. So it means you could have moved him already. Kobe shot air balls, you would have thought that would make you hold on to Eddie Jones. It did not. It made you get rid of Eddie Jones because you're like, you know what? We heard that kid was at UCLA after the plane landed. Another quick sidebar story from Allen Iverson. Allen talked about how he came out here to work out with Kobe, and they worked out during the day, and then they went and hung out at the beach, walked around, chilled, went and got some dinner, and Kobe's dropping him off back in his car, and Allen's trying to get him to go to the club. Kobe go, what you about to do? He said, I'm about to go to the club. I'm about to meet up with the homies, go to the club. He said, what you about to do? Kobe said, I'm about to go work out. And it was at like 10:30 at night. Yep. And that's what Kobe went and did. While you went to the club, Kobe went and worked out. Like, that was how much sadistic and psychotic about the game of basketball he was. But some of my moments that I like, I love the fourth quarter in overtime against Phoenix when they're the 7th seed and Phoenix is the 2 seed. Yep. The game winner, the game is by Mike Breen and Hubie Brown. The game winner, matter of fact, for shits and gigs, I can easily pull this thing up. But the game winner, and I mean, it's just perfect because you're hearing what Mike Breen is saying. You're hearing Mike Breen. You're hearing Hubie Brown, and as he's dribbling it up the floor, looking at the clock, you hear Hubie Brown goes, okay, you got to get a shot off. And Kobe gets to a spot. You got two Phoenix players that are literally, on top of him and over him and can easily block that shot. But that shot, the Portland 2 shot. Now, the first one, I think is luck. I'm not going to lie. The first one is sending it into overtime. But the inbound catch, turn, rainbow, bottom, jumps into Shaq. Shaq fouls out. Surprise, surprise. The Pacer finals, after Jalen Rose steps underneath him on purpose, which he admits on national TV, to hurt his ankle, having to miss a game. People forget, Kobe missed the game that finals. He didn't get a chance to play out in games because the ankle was too bad. But to take over, and then the cool story about that, with Shaq, the interview with Shaq, he sits and talks about the previous summer at UCLA. Guess who was there? Reggie Miller. And he's pushing Reggie to play, and Reggie won't play him until he keeps talking, and he goes off and shoot. Then he come back, come on, man, let's play a game, man, 1-on-1, dog, me and you, blah, blah, blah. Like, and Reggie even goes, okay, fine, I play the kid. And Kobe says, I knew that was a team that if we got to the finals, we would probably end up seeing. And he worked on Reggie that day 9 months earlier. You just don't have that no more, man.
No, you don't. And here's another story about the 62 game in 3 quarters. He got taken out because the Lakers were blowing out Dallas. Kobe had, I think Dallas had scored one more point than Kobe had through 3 quarters. He got pulled out of that game, and he was begging Phil, like, "Hey, I want to go back in."
No. Shaw, hold on. I'm sorry. I
got taken out. And one of the assistant coaches, I want to say was Billy Burkett, but don't quote me on that.
Shaw.
I don't know if that's correct.
Shaw.
But another, yeah. So the assistant coach comes over and says, "Don't worry, you'll get another chance, at something big." Because everyone was saying he might go for 90 that night. It was about 5 days later is when he hit the 81.
Well, no, hold on. I'll clean it. I got to do this because I can't let the people. We got to always make sure we get the people to straighten this. Actually, Brian Shaw is the assistant that wants him to go back in. Kobe's like, "Nah, I'm straight." Shaw gets upset with him. I had this talk with Byron Scott.
That's right.
Shaw gets up like, "Man, you got a chance to do something special." And Kobe's like, "Yeah, I'm straight, man. We got the dub. I want to rest. We good. I'll get it." And then, of course, 5 days later, he has the 81. But it was Brian Shaw, and that was such a dope story to hear. I was on another talk show earlier last year, and I had an interview with Byron Scott. You saw it, and I asked Byron about that, and Byron was like, "Yeah, they wanted Kobe to go. Some coaches want Kobe to go back. Kobe's like, "Nah, man, I'm good. We up 62 in 3. I'm straight. I'll get it. Don't worry about it." That's memorable too, man. Chasing down the ball at the end of Game 7 against the Celtics, and grabbing that ball and then going to the table, and I could see Jordan putting up the 5 fingers like Kobe was doing. That was one of mine. The end of Game 5 against Orlando when he can't contain himself. Someone's shooting free throws. He's back on the other end. He's got the jersey in his mouth. He's squatted down, but he's kind of hopping because he knows he just did what he wanted to do. He wanted to win a championship with his team. He had been through all that shit without Shaq. Listen, I tell people all the time, and I know people don't want to hear it or agree, and I get it. I really do. But I do feel that no one had to deal with more than Kobe Bryant did with less help than Kobe Bryant had. You can name Shaq, but after that, like if you really want to try to convince me like that Laker young team with him and Shaq was so great, they had some vets, but Samaki Walker was a starter. He was some ass. Rick Fox averaged like 6-8 points a game. Robert Horry averaged like 8-9 points. Him and Kobe did all of the heavy lifting, and other guys hit timely shots. That was not a great team. They should have lost to Portland. They were down 3-2 twice in different seasons to Sacramento. And Sacramento just couldn't hold on. They had their run where they swept through the Western Conference, but that was the year when Shaq was coming off his MVP. They had come off that first championship, and they both have talked about the goal then was to show everybody it wasn't the fluke. It was like the Pistons. The Pistons won that first one. The Bulls won that first one. That second year, they really, like the Bulls, we know they beat the Lakers in 5, but they really stomped out Portland in 6. And Portland was a better team. And if you remember, Portland had lost to the Lakers in the conference finals the year. The Lakers went to the finals in 91. Yep. And so Portland had been to 3 straight conference finals. Portland was the cream of the crop of the Western Conference. The Bulls stomped them out. The Lakers were the up-and-coming dogs, won their first championship, took 6 against the Pacers, but they really walked through Philly. And if you really look at Philly, the Lakers were coming off a 10-day break because they swept through the Western Conference. Philly went to 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals, quarterfinals, semis, went to 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were coming off a game 2-3 days ago. The Lakers hadn't played for 10 games. Allen Iverson had 49 in game 1. And Eric Snow hits a floater in overtime to put the game away. That game's nip and tuck all the way through. But once the Lakers got their bearings, they stomped them out. The teams that win back-to-back, that second year, they normally stomp the team out that they're playing because it's that chip on their shoulder. So I thought those Kobe times were just as memorable as the after Shaq years with Gasol and Ariza and Bynum and Odom and Phil. is back after writing the book, and you keep a Sasha. You try to add these pieces around. I mean, they went to 3 straight finals. If you go back to game 4 of that first finals against Boston, they're up 26 in the first half. They just have to close that game out, and they give that game up. And if not, Kobe would be a 6-time champion with 2-time 3-piece. The 60-point game, I'm with you. It was just so memorable to see him hit shot after shot after shot, and then Snoop is doing the shoulder shrug, and Jay-Z is clapping, and you can read his lips. He's saying, wow. Kanye's there. Q. I mean, every celebrity in Hollywood. You will never see that again, and that's what I think that a lot of players look at and go, damn, I would wish I could have. Nobody will ever have that again in the NBA like Kobe did, man. So I'm with you as being the huge Kobe fan that I am. Like you said, so many moments, man. But if I had to pick out some of like my favorite, the Phoenix shot, the Portland shot, the win, because also too, I'm sorry, back to the Portland shot. Remember, if they lose that game, they're the 4th seed. If they win that game, they're the 1st seed.
Yep.
Because Sacramento would have won the division that year. And Shaq fouls out. Kobe has to save him in overtime. In regulation. And then wins it and saves it for him in overtime. Oh, by the way, wasn't somebody icing their feet? Sean Kent walked up to him and started shaking the bucket and going, Kobe, stop her. Kobe, stop her. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Kobe, stop her, my ass. Okay?
I'll tell you something else people forget about, or they don't mention, that Kobe had to kind of come up through as well. The failed Dennis Rodman experiment with the Lakers in '99.
Yeah.
People forget about that.
Yeah, they tried with Rodman. They tried to add Rodman to Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't. Yeah, Rodman. Because by that time, man, God, didn't he go to Dallas after that?
I think so, yeah.
Because he's from Dallas, so I think he took that home, wanted to retire home. Quick sidebar back to football. Deshaun and the Rams. It's a home check, man. I think, and it's just ironic, and I think he's fortunate that it's a good team in his home city, because any other team wasn't going to give Deshaun. Deshaun, I think he can still beat you deep on some plays. Not sure if he'll play a whole season. Hasn't played a whole season in the last 3 years. The speed is starting to catch up. All the wear and tear on those legs. I would love to see him be successful and playing in front of his hometown. Growing up in Long Beach and playing at Long Beach Poly for the Jackrabbits, which was released today. I don't know if you saw this list. The all-time winningest high school programs in each state. In California, it is the Long Beach Jackrabbits. That is the winningest high school. That's over day, and that's surprising. And I'm like, hold on, modern day De La Salle.
Yeah.
Why? Hold on, what? Really? The Long Beach Jackrabbits are the longest and are the most winningest high school football team in the state of California. I thought that was amazing when I saw that. But back to that, I'm with you. What can he really give you? But there's going to be some games that he's going to break loose and have big deep threat. Matthew Stafford's got a cannon. I know Rob Parker, my buddy over at Fox Sports Radio, kills Matthew Stafford, and he covered Detroit sports for a really long time. But I'm with you, man. I believe in him with this Rams team, man. I'm high on this team. And maybe I'm higher than most people. Maybe I'm higher than the security guard at the local dispensary. I don't know. But I'm high on this team, dude. I like their weapons. Cam Akers does hurt, but it's a passing league. I know you got to still run the football, but I think if now with some teams, doesn't the pass set up the run? I'm super high. I'm higher than you on this team, and this is your squad. I think they're a 12 or 13 win team.
I do too. I got them 12-5, and to me, I think they're right in the conversation with Tampa Bay and Green Bay for the conference championship.
You like the Rams and the Packers in the NFC conference championship?
No, I like Tampa Bay, the Packers, and the Rams. Those are the 3 teams that I think in the NFC have a legitimate shot to actually get to the Super Bowl from the NFC.
A team that most people are expecting to be bad or below average that you think will be good this year?
You know what? As crazy as it sounds, the Raiders. I like what they have.
Okay.
I think they've done enough to be better. I think they're going to be finally have a team that's going to be in playoff contention. Are they better than the Chiefs? No. But do I think they're? I think they're a little bit ahead of San Diego.
They beat them in Arrowhead last year. I know that.
They will always be San Diego to me. So I know that they're here.
Yeah, I know, right? The Los Angeles Chargers. That's hard.
Yeah, it is. And Denver. I don't trust their quarterback situation. I think they're in a complete rebuild. I don't like their weapons. And didn't they lose Philip Lindsay in the offseason as well? I thought he was probably their most productive back last year. Actually, the last 2 years when he was healthy. So I don't like what Denver has at all. I think it's the Raiders. It's a team that I think could surprise some teams and be a little bit better than expected. Just because I don't think the Chargers are there yet.
I like the Chargers. The Chargers are my team that I think are an 10 or an 11-win team. In this day and age, teams take leaps really big from year to year. And we've all learned in the NFL, it's year to year, man. It's year to year in the NFL. You never know what you're going to get from certain teams. And I mean, just the AFC alone, it's been 4 different new playoff teams in the AFC playoffs the last 4 years. It's been 5 in the NFC. It's the top headers. We know that. We know the Chiefs are going to be good. We know the Bucs are going to be good. Aaron Rodgers, we always think the Packers are going to be good until the linebacker from Minnesota lands on his shoulder and breaks his collarbone and he misses 12 weeks in week 3. We know it's coming. Just who is it coming from? What quarterback or what start? Last year it was Saquon Barkley, right? 2 years ago it was Jimmy Garoppolo. It was 3 years ago, 4 years ago it was Carson Wentz. Every year there's a top flight player, franchise guy, top paid, franchise changing guy who gets hurt for the year. You just hope it's not your quarterback or your receiver, or you can survive. Like the Rams defense, if Aaron Donald got hurt and he was out for the year, you still can field a defense to play and keep you competitively in games.
Yes.
If you lose Myles Garrett, that Cleveland defense, who I'm actually picking to definitely get to a divisional round. People go, oh, they did that last year. I know. And they're a few plays from winning that game at Kansas City. They really are.
Yeah.
Best offensive line in football, top 5 defense, 2 running backs. Nobody wants to tackle those guys. Let's come on. Nobody wants to tackle Chubb or Kareem Hunt. Nobody wants to hit those guys. Baker's got all the moxie, big arm. Odell's back. Landry, tight end, Njoku, best offensive line in football. And Cincinnati twice, Baltimore twice, which is going to be a slugfest in a grown man game. And Pittsburgh, they look great in preseason the other night against some 3 and 4s. Some guys that'll be selling tires and insurance and accounting next week. That's fine. But I like the way Cleveland looks. But just to finish up on the Rams, a team I'm really high on. But the Chargers are my squad. And I look at it and I go, hey, look, in the NFL, if you have a quarterback and you got a running game, you got an offensive line, you got a shot. And they have all 3. Derwin James back at the safety position. Bosa back on the defensive line. New coach, renewed energy, opening up playing in SoFi. Hey man, I'm high on them. I can't think of another. I want to pick Philly. I really do, because I really feel Jalen hurt. And last year, let's get real. They're in the run in the Division 1, great, but it doesn't matter. They're in the run for that division at the end of last year.
Sure.
So that's another squad I look at. I think the Saints are bad. I think the Bears are bad. Jags are bad. Cincinnati's bad because they didn't go at the offensive lineman. But hey, we talked about Penei Sewell earlier, right? That looked like the Penei Sewell we thought we was going to see, and that's who everybody thought Cincinnati probably should have taken with their first round draft pick was Penei Sewell, because you lost your quarterback to a left side hit that tore his ACL, and at that time he got hurt. He was the most sacked quarterback in the league. So people thought, and now if Jamar Chase does not work out and can't separate, which is from everything we're hearing, They can be in trouble there, man. I think the Pats are middle of the road. Bum-ass Jets are the bum-ass Jets. I think Seattle takes a step back. I know people love Lockett. DK Metcalf is a two-trick pony. Quick slant, go route. And if Russell's not running around and can buy time to find him, I just don't see him as a productive route runner, man. Just to wrap up, man, one fantasy question for you. How many leagues you playing this year?
Right now, I've got 2. I'm looking for more.
Okay, I got one for you, man, with some real good sports guys. It's going to be a fun league. We're going to do it on NFL.com, and we're going to do also with the original offense. We're going to have 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 2 defensive backs that you can pick and play and start.
I'm down. Hit me up.
Tell everybody where they can reach you, playa.
Well, you can reach me on Twitter at LESTRADAGR and at Facebook at Lewis's Sports House. I want to give a shout out real quick if I can.
Sure.
DJ.
My son crying, man. My son about to come out here. My son
earlier
crying.
When Cooper was here, that we're big wrestling guys. Well, I have a friend, and she has been during the pandemic going to wrestling schools and working the independent circuit as a ring announcer. And she won a contest with the WWE to be a guest ring announcer for a match at SummerSlam this past Saturday during the kickoff show. She won the contest. She got to realize her dream and call a match in a WWE ring at a WWE pay-per-view. Her name is Rain Cruz. She's like a sister to me. I love her to death.
Oh, snap.
Super happy for her and proud of her for accomplishing her dream and being able to do that, whether it was a one-time deal or she eventually ends up there permanently. She did a great job, and I'm super happy and super proud of her. Also, you mentioned CM Punk.
Yes!
Pretty soon, CM Punk to AEW. Let me tell you what. If everything I've read is true, following suit is Bryan Danielson, Bray Wyatt, and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
AEW is legit. Watch out.
Dog, let me tell you something. It's WCW in the 90s. They've handled this so smart, and now they got a big money guy, the Arab guy, bought in on it and bought out from Cody and those guys and put a bunch of money and stuff behind it. I have never heard a pop I heard Saturday, bro. And that's not being biased. I've never, and I know it was Chicago, and that's fine. But I've seen other people in their hometown. He could come here. Come here, buddy. Come here, Otay. Come here. He's holding on to you for dear life. My son is crying. It's probably dinner time. Yeah. But no, I there's been other stars that have been in their hometown. I do remember one Raw in Canada, in Montreal, where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are from, where they had a Raw there, and both those guys started Raw. One came out, cut some promo, then the other music hit. Those were ridiculous pops. I've seen The Rock in Miami and South Florida, ridiculous pop. But what I saw the other night and the emotion, I do not understand how WWE screwed this up so bad. All over ego, all over the whole beef with AJ, and AJ's on her way. AJ's gonna come and be in the women's division. They're gonna and you saw what I tweeted. Oh wow, look, it's a SummerSlam. And Brock is interrupting a match in suplex and Cena. Wow, where have we seen this creativity before? And it didn't work. It didn't work. No. Michael Cole, man, hats off. He tried so hard as a commentator to make it feel like it was the biggest thing happening. Same with Becky, even with Becky Lynch. But people, they were online calling this. They were like, okay, well, after last night, it's either Lesnar or Lynch. Are both of them. Like, people were caught, and they did exactly what everybody said they would do.
Here's the funny thing. We talk about the WWE screwing up the CM Punk thing. He talked about it in his promo. Why would he stay in this place that made him unhappy to begin with?
Yeah,
that was a great line in his promo. Here's the funny thing about, we talk about the WWE screwing stuff up. Since Becky Lynch, when she went out with her pregnancy, and I'm happy, for her and Seth Rollins. Yep. They got married, and they had their baby. She was probably the best thing that they had going. Her and I thought the Bayley storyline were the two best things they had going on, because at the time Roman Reigns was gone. They weren't using The Fiend or Bray Wyatt at all, and they were trying to force feed you Brock Lesnar and all this other stuff. There's a report I read out today that the whole idea with Becky Lynch was last minute because Sasha Banks couldn't wrestle. They haven't revealed why. And now they're going to turn their biggest babyface heel on her comeback. Why?
Wow.
It's the dumbest thing they could do. Here's the problem with it. The whole thing with the man and what caused Becky Lynch to skyrocket to where she is now was because they turned her heel and the fans weren't having it. The fans were happy when she turned heel because the aggressive side of her came out. They finally let her separate herself from everybody else in the division. It was what the fans wanted. They wanted her to not have that nice girl persona and to go and just kick everybody's ass like she was doing. So what do? They're going to bring her back and do it again. It's not going to work because people have wanted her back for months.
The beef with Triple. Somebody made a joke today and said Triple H has been demoted to the Twitter manager for NXT because he's now tweeting like up to the minute NXT stuff, and there are rumors and stuff that there is real tension between him and Vince because he's one of those guys that was told, hey, Vince will step aside in about 3 or 4 years, don't worry about it. And they're going on year 6 of this shit, and all the guys he brings up from NXT get buried, and they're leaving. If you think about who was it? Revolution, I'm sorry, you know what I'm talking about. The tag team that came from
the Ascension?
Yeah, which one? No. I know you love them. I know you love them. Yeah. The Extension. Though they've gone and left. It's like even a lot of the NXT guys that he brings up, they're eventually out of here. Look what they did with the Big E storyline. Like, me, I'm gonna play the color card on this. All of a sudden, the black guy wins the Money in the Bank, so the Money in the Bank normally cashes in for the WWE Championship, but then he has the briefcase stolen by Baird Court. Like, oh my, like, you got to be kidding me, man. This is such crap. But I mean, it just is what Vince is at this point. 70+ years old.
Here's the other thing. I don't mean to cut you off, DJ.
No, go ahead.
From what I've read, Triple H has been demoted and is no longer in charge of NXT, and they're changing NXT from, quote, a third brand back to the developmental brand that it was originally.
Wow. And that's a money thing. That's COVID. That's COVID, because they lost a lot of money on those shows.
That Vince may be looking to sell, which is why he's released, I think, close to like 50 people this year.
Oh, man. Oh, the releases this year was like ESPN. I thought I was reading an ESPN clip. I was like, damn. They're just releasing and like great talent. Like I need Bryan Danielson over there. They might as well go ahead and I know the Fiend will come over. Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman. Stop fucking around, bro. Come over to a promotion that's gonna know how to use you. Like these guys know what they're doing, and you still have like. Has there been a better guy who doesn't have to wrestle or say a word than Sting in the history of the business? Like, he doesn't have to wrestle and he doesn't even talk. And he still carries a segment, the CM Punk segment with him looking up at Darby Allin and Sting and the Raptors. I'm like, oh, God, I love this. This is WCW. And WCW was kicking, people have to remember, they were kicking Raw's ass every week until they got greedy and stupid and announced that Mick Foley won the championship on the recorded Raw, and they never won the ratings war another Monday night again, getting greedy, and they eventually got crushed and strangled by Vince McMahon and bought out.
Right, and you remember what? It's funny, like you bring up that, when they talked about Mick Foley, and they leaked the results, and do you remember what their main event was that night?
Was it the finger push of doom?
Yes.
Yep. The finger poke of doom. The worst thing they could have ever done. Yeah. The worst thing they could have ever done. They better keep Kevin Nash and Hogan and Bischoff as far away as, and I'm pretty sure they are, as far away from AEW as possible. Dude, I'm watching Jericho come out, and he doesn't even have to have his theme music played. The crowd just acapella that shit the other night. That was just, Like, you don't get that in WWE, and they've let talent like that go. Like, you let Jericho leave. You let these guys walk away thinking, nobody's tired. Dude, we're tired of Cena. Trust me. And guess what? Cena doesn't want to do this no more because Hollywood, he's figured out, even though he talks shit about him, he's figured out why The Rock left. He's figured it out. Dude, I thought he was awesome in the new Suicide Squad, and I was waiting for him to bomb it. I'm not going front, bro. He was really good at Peacemaker. He killed Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah. No, he was great.
He was great.
Here's what's funny is we talk about the talent that the WWE had, and I'm saying had past tense. Right now, to me, the hottest heel in the industry is MJF.
I like that guy.
He was in the WWE in NXT when it was a developmental promotion before he was let go.
They're gonna lose all their talent. I need Randy Orton. I need Randy Orton to show up on the Dynamite. It'll never happen. He's too loyal to Triple H.
I'll tell you what. I've never been I know you love Randy Orton. I've never been a big Randy Orton guy.
Yeah.
But I'm actually, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually really enjoying what he's doing.
I am too. I just need him to cut that mustache and that little triangle shit from underneath his lip. He looks like a 70s. He looked like a 70s porn star or a Peeping Tom. Tell everybody where they can find you, Luis.
You can find me at LESTRADAJR on Twitter or Lewis Sports House on Facebook. Man, it's been a pleasure. It's been far too long.
I know, man. I love you, brother. Tell the family I said what's up, man.
You too. Giving everybody my best. Love
awesome. No doubt, player. My man Luis Estrada from Elite Sports House. I'm wrapping up tonight's show. That was great. Great stuff, right? 3 hours, man. NFL, Sha'Carri, guests, call-ins. Man, this show's getting so much better. I thank you guys. Don't forget to tune in. Fox Sports Radio on Wednesday this week, August 25th, I believe it is. What's Wednesday? The 25th? The 25th. I had to ask my assistant and my secretary here. Do you have my espresso and my goddamn latte? Go get my espresso and my damn latte. And not too much whipped cream on the top. Hard to find good help around here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. But Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time to 7 p.m. Catch me. I, myself, the Big Vanilla Funny, the Big Vanilla Sports Guru, will be on Fox Sports Radio filling in on the Odd Couple for Chris Broussard and Rob Parker with my man Aaron Torres. So Fox has got me back over there, man. So I want to thank my man Cooper White from Minnesota, who girlfriend made him get off the show and kick him off the shit so they can go watch King of the Hill. He's never living that down. And then my man Luis Estrada from Estrada Sports House and Spectrum Sports. The guy's got 5 Emmys. Like, I'm so proud of him. But I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to get a little jealous. I'm starting to hate a little bit. All right, because it's like, all right, bro. Like, I don't have one. He's got like 5 of them, and yeah, I'm trying to keep from saying some smart shit. Like, oh wow. I mean, anybody can push a button and slide a lever and get credit for an Emmy. I guess that's what it takes. Now, I'm trying not to say shit like that because that would be wrong. He knows I'm just fucking with him. I love him to death, man. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. We gotta take y'all back out with this good old. We gotta take this back out. This good old Bootsy Collins of Paul and Funkadella, man. Shout out to my Uncle Nat. I love you, man. I know you up there. Just thank you for being a real G, man, and being a real dude, even though may not always been the right thing or everybody ain't agree with it, but at the end of the day, when you lay peace, there's a lot of people respect you, man. Shout out to my pops, Glenn. That was his baby brother, and we lost Uncle Nat Thursday night to cancer. So, as I said, dedicated this show to him and to my pops, man. And both of them put me on. I had no idea who Bootsy Collins was until my step pops, Glenn, and my Uncle Nat put me on. So, we're going to end it with that shit right there, man. Love you guys, man. VJs of Sports-Alike Conduct. Y'all know what it is, man. I thank everybody on my IG, YouTube, StreamYard, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker.com.
I'd rather be with you.
Oh, yes, I do.
That's that pimp shit right there. And y'all know I'm a pimp. VJs of Sports-Alike Conduct, man. I holler at y'all.
I just love that smiling face in the early sun. If I can't have you to myself, then life's no fun.